What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kinda Funny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Snowbike Mike.
It's two this is awesome, bro.
Two dudes
Tweedledee
in
and
this is
Tweedledum.
awesome sweatshirts
Two
looking
bros,
dope. You know
dude.
how it's
Two
got to be.
bros.
You know how cool we are. We're the coolest.
Give me some of that.
There it is.
We're coming hot off of Mania Weekend.
Wrestlemania, ladies and gentlemen, the showcase of the immortals.
And I'll tell you what, we've taken a plane ride. Me and Andy just had BJ's. And, you think...
That is
Nice.
a restaurant.
Nice, everybody.
That is a restaurant in California on this coast.
You think, I
Home
would
of the
start
Bazooki.
slowing down a little bit. But no.
Just
I'm ready to
getting
bring
started.
some energy.
Yeah?
Just
I'm
getting
ready to
started.
talk about our weekend.
Mike,
And, of course, me and Andy's BJ's adventure.
Mike, did you feel like the waitress was about to be fired?
That is a traditional BJ's
Yeah,
experience.
There was a
BJ's
vibe there.
A BJ's experience is
There was-
always someone's about to quit or be
When
fired.
she slid, she didn't bring you the utensils. It's like, lady, we've been here for 30 minutes. No one has there's 4 of you, and nobody has helped us.
The first lady leaves, gone forever. She asks for
She quit.
She gets
got
our
fired.
apps orders. She pieces out. Never to be seen again. Second lady's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, she left you. We'll take care of you." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Oh, weird kind of shade being thrown by her." Third lady ends up being like, "Hey, Mike goes, can we get some napkins?" She goes, "Oh, she didn't bring you napkins too. Okay, great. Yeah, we'll get you napkins." Like, God damn it, everybody
Fucking infighting.
Yeah, mind you, third lady, no name tag, not wearing any sort of BJ apparel.
I think she worked at Best Buy.
She's just wearing a green T-shirt. I'm like, I had a moment where I was like, should I hand my credit card to this person?
You see her take it, just walk out. Just go on.
Who is this
Into the
lady?
Barnes and Noble next
Yeah,
door to
it's
buy whatever the hell she wants.
Yeah, so our adventure was good, but
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk. I'm ready.
We
to
got a
have
lot
some
of.
fun.
We'll get everybody introduced, then we'll get it. We're glad we replaced
yeah.
you. Yeah, I'm glad to replace Nick with you.
Yeah, Nick
You know
on
what I
a
mean?
Monday. Ugh.
And then he was just shit. Today we did the stream. We played some WWE,
Yeah.
getting hyped for this, right? And because I'm the only one who understood how to get here early. You know what I mean? You 3 clowns can't even come to work on time. I'm waiting for this pot.
You're throwing that at us.
Yeah,
Greg,
I didn't miss a beat. I was on
Greg.
Games Daily, the stream, and this. You guys are like, oh,
You're
man,
About
that's
time
early.
you worked. Jesus Christ, dude. We'll watch basketball games and shit. Fuck
That
out
was a
of
big moment for Mizzou.
Big moment, big moment.
Anyways, he's the Hispanic heartthrob, Texas Street, Latino heat, clicking heads, ripping them to shreds. The globe-trotting headshot nitro rifle root dude from Twitch.tv, Andy Cortez.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Did you not get the memo that if you're going to wear a hoodie sweatshirt, it's supposed to be a This Is Awesome one today?
I
don't
have
have
one in my bag. I can
I have
get
a
one right
T-shirt.
now.
Should I wear the T-shirt?
Yeah, I've never seen you wear any of it, It seems like it'd be pretty supportive. I mean, if you really want to talk about the most, because I got all you guys T-shirts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you really want to talk the biggest fucking insult This Is Awesome's ever had, it's the fact that Joey Noels are still just sitting next to her desk.
Yeah.
She went to fucking Mania.
Those
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the truth
My
comes
T-shirt's
out.
been on my chair the whole time.
But you put other shit on your chair so I can't
Yeah,
see it.
yeah.
Joey
Yeah.
just leaves it.
You know the
just
biggest
leaves
insult,
it
Greg?
there.
The biggest insult
What?
is that mine isn't on the back of my desk because I put mine in the merch room.
Oh, man. The
There's
giveaway.
A lot of slaps in the faces as opposed to me,
Yeah.
who ran to see you at the pre-show.
I took mine to Salvation
my
Army,
hoodie,
dude.
Yeah.
Threw it up
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
air.
Yeah.
Started a chant. These
did.
guys, they don't even
Yeah.
get it.
No
Yeah.
dedication.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they just give me a polite no when I say, do you want the shirt? I give it to somebody else. My
I'll
family's still
take
waiting
2.
on him. I haven't even given my family yet.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
His family, Tim.
But I gave it to Forbes 30 under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the verified one at Tim Geddes.
I feel like I betrayed you, and it's because I did, Greg.
You didn't. It's
I
fine.
did.
Don't worry about
I
it.
did.
I was talking, we're going to tell only WrestleMania stories today. So if you don't want to hear,
Strap in.
no, I don't like wrestling. That's not what this is about. It's about us all being stupid idiots. As you know,
Very fun
Tim,
show.
and everybody who's ever paid attention, 98% of the time, everything that comes out of James Burke's mouth is the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
Man.
But he did last night. I think he was on his 19th Corona, and he did tell me that next time around I need to get a custom "This Is Awesome" suit jacket. And I was like, "Fuck, that's actually a
That
pretty
is
good
very
idea."
true.
Look like a Mouth of the South, have a big logo on the back.
Love
little
that.
one on my
Oh,
arm.
That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, we saw that guy.
Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy
we did
Hart.
see Jimmy Hart
Yeah,
back
we
then.
saw that guy, bro. Yep.
That
He's
guy.
very nice. He's very nice. There's going to be
Don't
a
even
lot
get
of
me
that
started
guys, let
on
me tell you
fucking
what.
Mike and that guy.
A lot of that guys.
The man with the $200 shirt. Just not a whole lot of knowledge of the sport.
But I'll tell you what, Andy, if I'm lying, I'm dying. He got so many compliments about that rock shirt. He did get a lot of compliments from
And
people we passed.
We talked about this when we were at In-N-Out. I was like, Mike, you win. Because I got a compliment on my sweatshirt that I printed out for $18. and it felt great. It felt great when a guy was walking by me and went,
great.
"That's a cool sweatshirt," and I just printed out a stupid meme on my T-shirt.
It was good.
Okay.
I
Okay.
did.
I'm glad that you felt that. 'Cause
I got
felt
the
that
joy.
400 times, and it was a.
Was it
great
worth every
joy.
dollar?
It was a pleasure.
It's worth every dollar.
Times two. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny podcast. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each coming to talk about whatever it is going on in their lives. If you like that and want to be part of the show, of course, you can write in for free at kindoffunny.com/KF podcast. However, if you want the best version of the show, go to patreon.com/kindoffunny, where, of course, you could watch live, just like Seer, maybe Sayer, 2398, who is watching their very first live podcast.
welcome.
We sold this
Nice.
one so well on how cool it was going to be to talk
Welcome,
about the
man.
stories. There was that.
Also,
of course, in
some-
true Kind of Funny fashion, I did immediately mispronounce your name, but I'm trying. It's like Meyer. So Sire, let me know.
Also, Chris Anka's in chat. Sorry, Chris, I didn't even say bye to you. Like,
He's
I
fine.
said
He
goodbye. I took
understands
photos
it.
of him as I drove by.
I
in the
left
Uber.
you on, and I don't know why I thought I was going to see Chris Anka later. And I was like, oh, that was.
Dude, this week, whatever you want to call it, was such a blur, and there was so much going on because it was WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But on top of that, Gia had went down a week earlier because it was her best friend's birthday in LA. I met her a couple days in, so in the halfway point, because I had to take care of the dogs. We couldn't leave them alone that long. People couldn't watch all that stuff. But then I went down, and a couple weeks ago on the show, I told the whole story about the Vanderpump Rules drama and all that stuff. We did a tour of all the restaurants, and it was incredible. And it was like dream come true type shit for me and Gia, where we got to meet all of the people, and we lucked out. They were all there.
All the Vanderpumps.
All the people from the
Insane.
shows were actually at the restaurants.
Wait.
That is not how it normally goes.
Why were
Just-
they there?
Because
They run the
some of them run the restaurant, some of them own the restaurant, some of them work. But like
Some
we
of them eat
happened
food.
to be there at the right shifts and the right moments and times. Like it was absolute insanity.
See, just to piggyback off of that real quick, my parents were in Vegas and they were like, we went to the Pawn Stars place. The Pawn Star guys weren't there. And I was like, that's
They
disappointing.
probably don't even work there
Yeah,
anymore.
but
I
see,
don't
it's
think-
but
yeah,
it's that same exact same vibe. But they probably don't even work there anymore, and most of them do not work there anymore. But they randomly
That's
happened to
awesome.
be there. It was insane. But Chris Anka and me always talk about this stuff. He lives
pumped up.
around some of those places, and we were trying to meet up, and the amount of things I fucked up schedule-wise or place-wise of where because we were over in, there was multiple areas that I had to be, because there was also the Super Mario Brothers movie premiere that I was very lucky enough to be able to go to. That was downtown LA. We were down in the LAX SoFi
About a 4-hour commute for you.
stadium area, and then there was West Hollywood, and none of them are close enough to each other. It's 30 minutes away from each other. It's LA. No, it's fucking not.
Yeah, nothing.
So we planned, there was a brunch that you guys all went to with Chris Anka that I said yes to, and then I like looked at stuff, I'm like, I fucked this up royally. But anyway, I love you, Chris. We'll have to hang out next.
Chris Anka already went by. He understood
What a
Andy, you
mess.
ghosting him. He was fine with it.
What a meal.
Great brunch.
Great brunch.
Great brunch. And I'm a West Hollywood boy now. I'm a West
Oh, that's where you
Hollywood boy. Yeah,
stay?
that's a dope spot. I'm there.
We had a blast. out there.
Motherload. Like, it just
means nothing.
Motherload.
You just said a word.
You know, the sizzling saddles. There's some dope
No,
spots.
Sizzling Saddles?
It was a
Good name.
beautiful spot. We had a blast just kind of walking after we had brunch. I got Mike got some pancakes or no French toast.
French toast.
I got the waffles. Oh,
Oh.
my god, best waffles I've ever had in my life.
Tell you
This
what.
whole place was a freaking treat. We got to meet Elise and James' new dog. Oh my god.
Oh,
Just
man, Remy.
pet the ever living
Woo.
fuck out of this dog.
Yeah.
Like goddamn, what a great time it was. And we had some ice cream.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm gonna go take a nap for like 6 hours. I'll be late for WrestleMania.
Did show up late.
Andy.
Night 2, yeah, there was a big conversation. I got there. I thought me and Tim thought we were running late from backstage, and we finally got up there. And it's like, where the fuck is Mike? Where's Andy? What is going on?
Two very different places, by the
Oh,
way.
very different. Tim looked at me when I finally made it up because I
Yeah.
was somewhere else.
You were meet and greeting, right?
No, we did meet and greets during Greg's thing. Then me, James, and Elise went to another booth. We flexed on him, got into that booth, which was dope. Yeah, box, booth, box.
Skybox. Well, at home, people are like,
Yeah,
what's
who'd
a
you
booth?
flex
Skybox.
The security guards, you know, because like we had box tickets to go to somewhere else, and then they were like, "You can't be in here." Give them,
All access pass.
give them the badge. You know,
Let me tell you, nothing makes you feel more bulletproof than an all-access pass. We'll get to that in a second, though, because we're still in the intro. Of course, if you are on patreon.com/kindoffunny, you can watch the podcast live as you record them. You can get them ad-free anytime as a video and MP3. And, of course, you can get dozens and dozens of exclusive episodes of show, all on patreon.com/kindoffunny. However, if you got no bucks tossed us, it's no big deal. Of course, you can watch the show for free on youtube.com/kindoffunny. And, of course, listen on podcast services around the globe each and every week. Housekeeping for you, Super Mario in Review kicks off this week on Wednesday. We are recording on Wednesday, posting as soon as possible on Wednesday.
That is true.
And we are doing it out of order. We are doing the new movie first, then we're going back to the John Leguizamo classic.
And I want everybody to know that the John Leguizamo classic from 1993 featuring Bob Hoskins, which, by the way, Greg, we'll get to it later, but me and you we looked fantastic at WrestleMania in our suits.
We
So
did.
good.
And not planned. I just showed up and saw him. He saw me. We were like, oh, we're about to rock this shit.
Yeah.
We looked exactly like Mario and Luigi in the 93 movie when they wore suits. Why they didn't wear green and red, I don't know. But they wore yellow and red, and that's what it was. But we looked fucking awesome. But the problem with Super Mario Brothers 1993, one of the problems, let's start there, is it's not available literally anywhere.
Anywhere.
Not to stream, not to buy. You can't buy the thing.
You have to find it at a pawn shop.
So it has to go to the
Pawn
pawn shop.
Stars.
So
Local pawn
the
shop.
thing is, though, you can get it on the Internet Archive. So there's a link that you can watch this that's out there.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to, we'll do the in-review. We'll put the link in the description. Maybe we'll tweet the link out or something, too, so that people at home
We should
can
just do a
watch.
short link, right? KindaFunny.com/Mario.
Something like that. Yeah, well, yeah, that's good. Let's do that. KindaFunny.com/Mario if you guys want to watch the 93 movie so you could watch along with us. You get what I'm saying.
Also, real quick, too, just for everybody watching this on Tuesday, make sure you tweet at me because we will have forgotten to make that link.
Yes.
Yes.
Make it today.
Yes.
But I'm saying, you think right now, at the start of what is guaranteed to be a long podcast, I'm gonna remember at the end of it, on top of it, because I'm gonna be like, I gotta get home to Ben. I haven't seen my son in 2 days. I'm gonna be like, also, I gotta make a Mario.
Another reminder, Paul Joycey, our homeboy Joycey,
Yeah.
DM us or email us the thing for later.
Oh.
For later.
Ominous.
Also, another reminder,
I don't know what
I need
that
goldfish
means.
crackers tonight. So if you're watching this live, tweet at me and say, Andy, you're out.
Kind of Funny
I'll
Wrestling
remind
is
him.
back. That's
Yeah.
right. KFW is returning 1 week from Thursday. Mike and I will be streaming that as we kick back off the next season there of KFW. Thanks for your support on Patreon. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Tripod Plus, James Hastings, Casey Andrew, Nathan Lamoff, and Al Tribesman, the Predator. Today we're brought to you by Shady Rays and Evil Dead Rise, but we'll talk about that later. For now, let's dive in to our WrestleMania weekend.
What a
Where
weekend.
to begin? Now, for those that don't know, Greg, I feel like maybe we should start.
WrestleMania is a WWE event where people wrestle.
Yes, but on top of that, this was WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. The LA version, this is a very, very big deal. They've only done it once before, if I'm accurate on that, maybe sometime in the 90s. But WrestleMania 21 back in, 2004 or something like that. There was WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. It was awesome. You maybe get some celebrity guests and all that stuff. But here we are making our return. WWE's been really kind of crushing it. Storylines have been at an all-time high, I would say. Normally at WrestleMania, maybe there's 2-3 matches. People are like, yeah, this is going to be great. This was kind of like banger of expectations. And I think that overall they kind of met those expectations. But WrestleMania now, 2-day event.
Yeah.
So Saturday and Sunday, about 5 hours each day of just pure wrestling goodness and insanity. So we got to do all that, and it was like, what was your side of it, Greg, in terms of like the working angle of this?
Well, yeah, this is the first WrestleMania for me as a WWE host. Obviously, I host the show. This is awesome on Peacock. We started that at SummerSlam, so you know we worked on it before that. But this is the first Mania, because Mania always comes around in the spring, that we were actually doing stuff with WWE. So, I think when we talked about it, when we did the SummerSlam recap, we talked about, you and me, Tim, going backstage for the first time, right? And like how incredible that was. And there was that whole story and narrative, and then how it built to me seeing Paul Heyman at the very end, right? After he had fucked with me on Twitter, and we had fought. Yeah, I did a whole bunch of different stuff. And then I talked about Royal Rumble in January, where I was like, this one was a job. I was backstage, but I was used to it, and I was working the entire time. This one was this surpassed, I think, SummerSlam in a lot of ways, because it was like, it's WrestleMania, which is the granddaddy of them all, right? Like, it is the fucking event of the WWE calendar. It is what everything builds to.
The Masters, the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
86,000 people there.
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
SoFi
right.
Stadium.
And so it's this idea of not only being there, but being backstage. And there's like a different energy backstage, because there were so many people there, so many more than SummerSlam, right? Because, of course, there's more superstars. It's a 2-night event. There's all these different things. And then celebrity guests and people who are just showing up and whatever going on and stuff. So there was that part to it. But then, like, we've joked around so many times about it of like, when does this end with you in the ring and yada, 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 right? Like, I was excited to do the pre-show again. I did the pre-show on Sunday, and that's what Kev's got pulled up here if they can see it. But, I was lucky enough to be backstage on Saturday as well with Mike horsing around being a goon. And it was, of course, up, down, down's Austin Creed, a.k.a. WWE Superstar from the New Day, Xavier Woods, right? And he was getting ready to shoot some stuff for Mania, for the real show. And him and his producer were like, you want to be in it? And I'm like, of course I want to be in it. You know what I mean? But it was that thing of getting there and holding my breath, like totally being, okay, they don't need me, or they, somebody else would be bigger. And it was originally Mike was going to be in it too. But eventually they were like, you know what? Let's just keep it to WWE talent, which includes me as a WWE superstar.
Love it.
And so I got to go do that, right? Bless Jesus. Kev, if you want to click on Greg on Mania, the last day you got it, there it is. Of it's actually me. And this was night 1. I got to come back on night 2 and do the pre-show stuff, then run backstage and get back on it again to do it. And so this actually ran during WrestleMania, right? So it's like that thing of always trying to tell your family and friends oh, are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing pre-show. Oh, okay. So if you're watching early, you'll see me. It's no big deal. Whereas this one's you can't get away from it, right? There's Ben watching me on the pre-show, of course, which is ridiculous. He actually was engaged. We have videos of him going dead.
They're gonna use that photo when he's in the squared circle.
Yeah, right.
Dollar cereal match.
But yeah, I didn't. Obviously, with the lead up on day 1 of, hey, do you want to come back and do this thing? And Kevin, yeah, please just click through everything and just have fun with it. We can come back to anything we want. The build up on day 1 of okay, cool, you want to do this bit? Yeah, I want to do this bit. Is it going to happen? Is it going to get edited out? Blah, blah. Once it aired, and it was it was another one too of you've been with me on so many of these events since This Is Awesome has started, and it's always that thing of are they gonna run a promo for This Is Awesome during a commercial break? And they'll San Jose, they did it, but they didn't use one that had me. It was just this, which is totally fine, of course. But it's that's awesome, that's my show, but it's still gaining steam, and do people know that that's a me thing, and da 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 da. So this time around, the bit runs during WrestleMania, and not only does it run during WrestleMania, it's on the SoFi giant screen, you can't, the giant one at the top, you can't look away from.
Greg Miller.
The one that everybody boos when it was breaking.
Goes out, when it goes out. It broke multiple times, right? But it, was up there, and it was then my phone explodes. It was almost Game Award level of when I won the Game Awards, of people texting, I saw you on this, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, thank you, KindaFunny best friends, who are amazing, of tweeting at the screen grabs at me, both from the pre-show. Mike's talking about the people who were in the pre-show audience. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a second. But night 1, again, the bit runs during the show, and that was the moment where I had to stop and I got really emotional, where it was just introspective of the day Mike and I had, because it was SummerSlam, here's your first backstage pass. Awesome. You and me stuck to our producer friend Dan, and it was very quiet, very much, what's up, and da da da. We're playing officially. Royal Rumble, I was working the entire time. I didn't get to roam around. And so Saturday,
because of that,
sure,
working Royal Rumble meant that you worked with everybody.
Right.
So, and you got to work with them as not only the host of This Is Awesome, but then also what you were doing there was for WWE 2K.
Yeah.
So you're now multifaceted as a WWE talent.
I had a great refresher for a lot of people, or a great introduction to a lot of people in January of, hey, I remember I do stuff here and I work here. So that, Saturday and Sunday, it was people coming up to me saying, hey, and shaking hands,
wrestlers, the WWE themselves, which you are as well now, but saying hi to you as somebody that they know.
Yeah, but Saturday was a blast, because Saturday we did not have the producer. It was just Mike and I backstage, and we had fuck all to do for 95% of the time.
Freedom. Shenanigans.
And so when you give us these all access passes, and now, compare,
Mike never needed an all access pass to begin with.
I know.
He's gonna get down
the
there
difference
no
between
what.
SummerSlam and this is I know how it works backstage, and not that I didn't know what to do, but it's I knew the photo people. At the end, I was a little drunk, and I stopped in. I'm like, oh yeah, we're supposed to get new photos, and okay, I took new photos and shit. You know what I mean? And then the next day in the suit, I did. We're popping around, we're having a great time, and Kevin's got this pulled up. Eventually it's just you want to go out to the floor? Yeah. So Mike and I go out to the floor, and we walk up to the wall, and the security guard there, so. To bring it back to, and then during the thing, we're you want to leave the skybox and go down to the floor for the main event? Sure. After the main event, hey, do you want to go backstage? Sure. You can see us getting our photo taken with Rhea Ripley. And what's awesome about this is 12 hours before this photo with Rhea Ripley, we got backstage and we walked and we passed Rhea, and I've never seen Stomach Mike freeze. And he froze, and he was just he took an inhale and caught it in his throat, and they made eye contact. He's have a great show, and like kept walking. And then he saw her again on a pass and didn't say anything to
Takes a
her.
special person to do that.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
To get this man to
Exactly.
shut his
And
mouth.
so 12 hours later, we're backstage getting a photo with her while Sammy and KO get interviewed in the back after just winning their main event. You know what I mean? Like,
What a great match.
we fucking both Saturday and Sunday owned that place, and not like we owned it, but I mean like we owned the power we had and
there.
what we were. Yeah. And we
I think
wanted
that was the coolest thing is like, you know, at SummerSlam, very much felt like we didn't belong. It was like, whoa, so we're guests. It's so cool we're here. It felt like we belonged this time, like in a very real way, which was like so fun and so awesome. And like I was saying earlier, like I got faced with the biggest first world problem that I've ever had to deal with, which was I got invited to the Mario movie premiere, which I wanted to do so badly, and I just didn't know when it was going to be. And so, of course, I said yes. And, of course, it had to be day one of Mania. And, of course, day one of Mania is the one with all the people that I was looking forward to seeing the most, including the main event of the tag team. So because of that, I was like, I just got to commit. I'm going to do the Mario premiere, which was absolutely awesome. We'll talk about that later. But then to rush back after that, like, I'm going to try to make the main event. And it ended with them not letting me in because they're like, there's no re-entry. I'm like, I never went in, guys. Like, I never even got to be here. But they just wouldn't let me in because it was too late in the show. So I was outside the arena, hearing the match happen, hearing the cheering, watching it on my phone on Peacock. And it was the saddest thing in the world.
You missed out on Miyamoto.
I was
we
trying to
should talk about
recap.
his
I was
family,
trying to
yeah.
recap for Mike. I was like, in a story-based game, Tim made every wrong decision. Tim got the worst
I need to
possible
know
ending
about
at
it,
every
Tim, is
twist.
right.
Yeah.
I need to know about the lefts and the rights that you chose.
Yeah.
Because you missed.
Like, well, look, here's the thing, though, Mike. Here's the thing, though, with that miss is that, like, there was a lot of misses. There was a lot of hits. Like, it was like,
Okay.
you take some good, you take some bad. Like, yeah, there was I got to watch the Mario movie, and Miyamoto was in the building. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
dream shit. It was so incredible. I don't regret a single choice I made. I'm just sad that some things didn't work out.
There was a lot of people in the box with us. For those of y'all don't know, friend of the show, family member, John Drake. He's my father. I
I was
know.
going to say, who's your related?
wow.
Yeah, he's my
That's
father.
nice.
Definitely extended kind of funny family.
Yeah, they asked us if do you want to pitch in to get a nice box that we can all kind of chill in and we have our own restroom, and I was like, fuck yeah, this sounds like a cool
was
ass
amazing.
opportunity. It was a really, really great time. And there was a lot of people in the box night one going, where's Tim at? And I said, oh, he's at the Mario thing. And everybody's like, why would he be there? I was like, he's not just watching the Mario movie.
Yeah.
He's at the red carpet. And they were like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's like a big deal.
Totally.
And so, like, you were really bummed out about this, but I saw you as we were both leaving our same
The
hotel
hotel.
at the same time, and I was like, dude, you made the right choice. Like, this is WrestleMania is great, and the fact that there's 2 nights is fantastic for you because being at a red carpet premiere of the Mario movie sounds so badass. And like, again, first world problem, like you were mentioning, but I would have done the same thing you did.
Dude, it was awesome. And I got to go with G, and we got to dress up. She had like a Rosalina dress. I had a Mario 3 box art inspired thing. I loved it. It was awesome. Everything about that was great. It was just that like unfortunate timing of it all. But what it allowed is all of a sudden Greg's right-hand man, Tim Geddes, wasn't there with him.
Sure.
So the one extra all-access pass gets to go to one Snowbike Mike having the best fucking day one of his life. Did you need it? No, you didn't need the all-access pass. It made things a little easier.
Made things easier, is right. Yeah, we had a blast, Greg. That was a really great experience. I mean, on my side, of course, it was my first ever Mania, my second ever wrestling event, of course, after our Monday Night Raw time. And I've watched so much wrestling content from Acknowledge Amanda. Now, of course, you put me on to,
Simon Miller.
well, Simon Miller, but what's the channel?
What
Culture?
culture?
What
Wrestling.
Culture? Yeah, Simon Miller's my guy, though. That's the guy I'm
Not
watching
anymore,
so
though.
much of.
So real quick, I know we're jumping around a bit, but I want to say, because
Look
you're
at
bringing
this.
this up here.
Look at
This was so much
Herring
fun.
footage released by What Culture WWE of Simon Miller 316 and his
He looks
fans
psycho.
accosting me last night out SoFi Arena. They had illegally gathered, and I, as a WWE superstar, wanted them to peaceably disperse. No good deed goes unpunished. So look at me getting dragged into the crowd here.
Let me tell you what, Greg, you are an actor. You're above and beyond. Because I'm watching the YouTube video. Because of course we leave.
If you
so
click
far.
on the
Hold
link,
on,
you
but
can
let
get
me
to the YouTube.
let me give the background on this just for a second.
Okay.
All right, there are at this point in my life, you know, I love YouTube. Yeah, everybody knows this. You've heard my journey, all this stuff. The only 2 YouTube channels that I watch just without fail, anytime they put out a video, I'm watching it. New Rockstars with Eric Voss and What Culture Wrestling with Simon Miller. He does the absolute best recaps of all wrestling stuff. He has this format called Ups and Downs where he goes through every match and he either gives it an up or he gives it a down. He's so charismatic. He's so great. Fucking love this dude. And at Mania, he does it live, where he'll right after the show go out, and it starts with like just one fan meeting him up, and it ends with just him surrounded by hundreds of people, and it's such a fucking blast. And as we were walking, Greg's worked with him before, doing some
Battleground stuff. We did a thing, yeah.
Yeah. So as we were leaving WrestleMania Night 2 last night, we're walking by and it's him. We all start freaking out. I start extra freaking out. I'm like, Greg, you gotta fucking get in there. You are psycho.
Go ahead and rewind it, Kevin. Rewind it. We'll put the volume up so if you're an audio listener, you can at least hear there. So pause it before. Rewind literally 2 seconds, Kev. Pause it and then Tim continue to set this up.
So I mean, that's pretty much the setup. Is Greg just leaves our group of people, runs into this giant group while they're filming this video, and
it's like
we should just let's just
the body.
We can watch and listen to this for a minute.
Yeah,
Greg's appearance
but like so the idea is like we were coming and it's just a huge swell of people with phones lighting him up, and we were like, what is that? And you were like, it's What Culture? It's Simon. And I'm tall. I got to the edge of the scrum. I looked up and I'm like, is that Simon? Because I know Simon is a bald man, and he's wearing a cowboy hat, a light up Pikachu thing. And I'm like, I do not want to push through and be wrong that it's his name. And you're like, Simon would never wear a hat.
I was like, he would never wear a hat.
And then you're
like
like,
that.
no, that's Simon. All right. And I'm like, all right, fine. So yeah, I started pushing through and like, it's a group of people who like waited hours or whatever, probably to see him or whatever. I'm pushing through. I'm like, excuse me, WWE, WWE. And there'd be this moment where like, fuck, oh, Greg. I'm like, hey, man, what's up?
It's so great. So I want to play this, and even audio listeners, this will play for you too, because you'll hear it. The one thing I will say is because Greg was so aggressive, it pulled the mic out a little bit, so it gets a little poppy. So for the next minute, there's gonna be like a pop or two here and there, but just it's gonna be okay.
So good.
Imagine that. Imagine you catch that in and you just got someone called Simon. Sorry.
Excuse me.
Oh my gosh.
My name is Greg Miller. Boo yourself. Boo yourself. My name is Greg Miller. I have a real show on Peacock. We don't need this. Cut this off. We don't need fake wrestling shows. There is a real show on Peacock.
Listen.
Boo yourself.
Wait. 1 second. Listen. I'm never going to shut up. Lovely seeing you. Listen. Shush.
It's great to see you.
1 second. Wait. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. Listen, Greg. Listen, Greg. Greg, you've already stolen my last name. You don't get to steal my show. You take your ass, you turn around, and you get out of here. I don't know what they're chanting.
Don't you boo me. He's rotting the
Can you pause
of
real quick?
America. This is an
So what needs to be pointed out there is that's very much a do you want a roughhouse moment?
Yes.
Because there's like a 10-year-old boy in front of us below the camera that I thought maybe they'd pan down to. But the kid started booing me and I just go, I just like scream in this kid's face. And he was like, oh, so taken aback.
You can see the 10-year-old earlier in the video.
Just like
one day it's going to work. One day it's going to work, Kev. The bit will be great.
It hasn't yet.
Kev, keep playing, Kevin. I'm almost off.
infection from London and I am getting WWE security. There is a real show. There's a real show called This Is Awesome, and you should go play.
This is so good. The fake poll killed me.
Fake? What are you talking about?
Oh my God.
And let it play, and then he gives me a down. That's a fucking bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, kid, this is awful.
He doesn't even know what to do.
We were walking away and they were yelling at it, Greg. It was amazing.
Just want to say, not in a million years did I think I'd be stood here as Cowboy Pikachu yelling at Greg Miller. Yelling at Greg Miller. Nah. Listen. I hear you, Greg. I'm going to give Greg Miller a down. He's getting down.
That is awesome.
I
That
felt
is
like
so
it was
cool.
another one of like, you know, in a far different way, how we had that perfect end to SummerSlam where Paul Heyman and me hug and he tells me I'm great. And when I walk away and I had that shit-eating grin, that was such a great end to the week. And what I mean by the week is I even extended beyond that. And what I would like to do is open my private messages, my texts from one of the most important and heartfelt messages I've ever got from one Tim Geddes.
Oh.
right, who texted me. You were gone all last week.
Yeah.
And last week, obviously, I don't know if you know, I finally dropped the facade and put PC gamers in their place.
Oh,
right?
amazing.
Multiple. I have a great set of tweets up right now that are going to give me a lot of trouble too.
No,
but,
stop.
I can't stop now. I got to double down. I got to triple down. But it was like, so I had the 2 videos of that. Then, of course, the being in part of WrestleMania, then the Peacock stuff, then us backstage, then blah, blah, building that. But even just during the WWE Peacock stuff, you hit me up and you go, dude, I can't wait to give you the biggest hug this week. Greg Miller has evolved, and this week is not even over. Love you as a performer, as a person, and as a brother. But right now, damn, the performer is something special. And I do feel like, especially like my, don't cry.
I get me by 3. You know that's how it works.
Definitely, that moment there, but then the pre-show too. The pre-show, like, again, it's one of those of like, pre-show first time around at SummerSlam, right? Like, I got out there and I was great. And like, they gave me the Wolf Blitzer thing and I got mad about it. And then Jerry the King Lawler was like, look, he's mad about it. Ha, ha. And like, this was one of coming in there and being like, watching for a while and be like, all right, the crowd is like, I can't, as somebody who's gone to wrestling my entire life and gone to plenty of sporting events or whatever, this WrestleMania crowd was something special both nights, man. And that extends to this pre-show crowd. Because if you remember the first pre-show I did in SummerSlam, it was in the parking lot way away from the stadium. There was like a dedicated crew of like 12 or 20 kids there. It wasn't like a big thing. This was hundreds of people gathered around because it was in the stadium. It was right there. And so when I got there and noticed nobody was bringing them into it, I was like, immediately I'm going to get you involved and then I'm going to go after you. Mike had a great "This is awesome" chant. I got out there. I had a bunch of good ribs with the crew and everything else. I was making fun of, Wade Barrett. Booker was making fun of me again with the Wolf Blitzer thing. Like, we had a whole thing going and then I was getting the crowd involved. And it was like,
Greg, there was a big Vita sucks chant that you didn't even get to hear, I don't think, because there was so many people. But the best friends, y'all showed up for this shit.
So
Mike was there. Mike was in the middle of it all. It was great. I was running around like taking pictures. People in Nitro Rifle like merch left and right.
Did you talk about me? Or?
On camera?
Yeah.
No, God, no. No.
Maybe one day.
Yeah,
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, come on time to things,
I should have photocopied Mike's backstage pass. I was so jealous of it. Like, the experience that I got to hear secondhand was like, I still got so much joy out of just the stories of you all just being idiots. And it's
idiots.
Like, the amount of times that Greg told me something new that I'm like, God damn it, Mike is such an idiot.
Well, I mean, for me, there's so much, of course. The Rhea thing stands out for me as a great one for Mike.
Rhea was right off the rip.
The other one, again, where it was like, like, on top of you wanting the main event, on top of everything else, you love John Cena. And so in the lead into this, Tim, you had been like, I really want to see Cena's match. And then the card got released and it was like the first thing on the card. Like, that's not going to happen, blah, blah, blah. So then it's even worse that me and Mike are sitting backstage, hanging out, talking to Big E or whatever. And then Cena comes in and sits down and is talking to these kids over here. He starts eating lunch over there. And it was like, we saw him in the hall at one point. We didn't say anything. And it was like, damn, Cena's here. It's like, we're not going to, my whole thing is like, if I don't know the wrestler, I'm not going to come up to them on game day and be like, oh, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get in their head or anything like that. Or like, not even in their head, but like, they don't need an unneeded distraction. Enough people are trying to grab them when they're trying to get in the zone, right? And Cena from the jump was in his gear. Like, we
was like us with William Shatner at that one Comic-Con. We were like, we don't want to get next to William Shatner. We can let him do his thing.
And so, we're just chilling. I'm texting Tim updates. And I at first it was like you stupid idiot for liking Mario. And then it was like, dude, this is just actually insane. We're this close to Cena, blah, blah. And then, of course, fucking Mike Howard. We're finally walking. I'm on my phone talking to him, blah, blah, and we're going, and here comes John Cena, and Mike makes eye contact, and he makes eye contact, and you go, hey, good luck tonight. Have a great match. And John Cena's like, thank you very much, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, oh,
awesome.
my God. We just kept walking.
I can see him, bro.
I love you saw him. You did the impossible.
The only one.
Like, the opposite of that is when, who's the guy from Jackass?
Darkshark.
We're fucking walking back. It was like it's getting to be. It's almost game time right now, or maybe it was afterwards. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was like pandemonium back there. There's all these golf carts running people around. All stuff's happening, and so this golf cart rolls by, and I look, and I'm like, oh fuck, Johnny Knoxville. And then I did not recognize Darkshark on the back or whatever, but he's the dad, right?
Darkshark is Earl Sweatshirt's dad.
Yeah, exactly. And he, of course, was the new gen of
Jackass.
Jackass.
Of course.
And so the crew was on there.
And so like it's getting so jam packed in there that we catch up to it. He was like, "Oh, Darkshark, you're the best," and like we catch up, and he's like, "Darkshark, give me a pound, you're the best," or whatever. And he gives him the pound, and Johnny Knoxville loses his shit. because the only person being acknowledged on the card is Darkshark. You know what I mean?
Had to be.
And I
like
love
Chris Pontius was there.
While this is happening, I then also have to grab Mike's shoulder and move him because he's about to run over Ric Flair, who's walking directly at us. He's about to fucking take him down with a shoulder block and destroy him. Jesus Christ.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
You got to say hi to Darkshark.
Yeah, exactly.
Big deal.
Ric
that's the one
Flair,
he's
it's a
getting
has-been. He's
he's over it.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, we had a great time. And it was so funny how it started off because me and Greg showed up really early, right? It's 12:30.
Yeah.
Oh,
No
sorry.
one's been there.
Not Earl Sweatshirt's dad. It's somebody else.
Jasper.
Jasper's his name.
Jasper Dalton. There we go.
And so we show up, and the best part is we're with Dan. We're looking over
Producer for WWE, who produces my show.
looking over the stage and the stadium, and the first words out of his mouth is, "Hey, don't take any photos. If you're gonna take a photo, like make sure I'm the one doing it." And there I am with my disposable camera, just snap this photo at the same moment. I'm taking photos, and I go, "Okay, yeah." We go down underneath. Now we're in, the belly of the beast, and the first person we see is Rhea, and I'm just taken by that. Now all of a sudden we're in catering, we're eating, and everybody and their mother is there, right? Like Sami Zayn is right next to us, KO is right next to us, Big E is hanging out. Like Greg said, right? I'm trying to be as professional as I can. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm smiling and like waving at people, right? But like I'm trying to
You're doing the mic thing.
give them their thing. Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, I gotta eventually talk to someone. You know what I mean? Because Greg's doing his thing. Everybody loves Greg.
Everybody
and Greg
loves
knows that, and it's so much fun to be around Greg because they're so happy to see him, excited to talk with Greg, and it's very cool. And Greg, I'll give you some more flowers in a moment. But
Thank you.
I was like, well, when's my moment? You know what I mean? When am I going to do?
I've been a wrestling fan for 4 months. When am I going to get the
no one's paying attention to me.
Big E. And I'm like, well, F it. I'm going to go over there and talk to him. He's all alone now. You know what I mean? Go up to him, shake his hand, introduce myself. I say, thanks for keeping Greg in check. And just a really nice guy. We're chatting it up. You know what I mean? Talking about the new day and how's he doing, what's up, And so that got the ball rolling for me and moving. And who else do we see? There's two people I want to see backstage. That's Rhea Ripley and one Becky the Man.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Greggy, she says, and she locks eyes with Greg. And I'm like, oh my God, we're about to meet Becky Lynch. This is unbelievable.
That's incredible.
And Greg, here's your flowers. Greg Miller's the type of dude who does so well if you're with him to make sure he introduces you to that person. Shakes Becky's hand. It's so great to see you catching up. Hey, have you met my friend Mike? This is my buddy Mike. I get the moment with Becky, and he immediately, I could have said anything I wanted. Could have chatted with her for 5 minutes. Picks up the conversation when I'm down on that one. It was so cool.
Yeah, I
Great
tweeted
job.
Instagram about that one. That was one of the touching ones. Obviously, I gave for night one. I gave Austin Creed so much credit, of course, because not only was it, hey, do you want to come do it? It was then him going, all right, cool, I got you. We were already talking to Liv, or we had run into Liv, and she was going to come do it with us or whatever. And I knew her. I like her a lot. And so then he was like, cool. And Breeze was there too, Tyler Breeze. And he was like, all right, cool, I'm going to go to the locker room and just get as many people as I can. And it wasn't even to make the shot look better. He wanted to give anybody who isn't doing something at Mania a chance to be part of Mania, be part of the real show, right? Because, of course, so many of the superstars there do not get on the card. They're just there doing other stuff or whatever. And so it was awesome to see him both nights really go above and beyond to try to get people out there and give them their shot and get, let's have a WrestleMania moment, no matter how small it is or whatever. And at the end of it, he was so happy to have done it. It wasn't at all about trying to make up, down look big or something like that, which I know you wouldn't think of, but I want to make sure that he was so from the perspective of let's help as many people as we can.
Put people on, man.
Yeah.
So
just
cool.
Speaking of giving flowers, to continue the train of giving Austin love, Austin Creed, Xavier Woods, he is easily the busiest man in the business is any business that it is, whether it's YouTube, whether it's WWE, whether it's G4 when he was doing that, working out all of the stuff. I don't know how there's enough hours in the day for him to accomplish the amount of things he does. The friendships that he has, the way that he remembers treats people. He's
the Kevin Hart of that side of things.
Legitimately, he might be the single greatest human being on this planet. I mean that. I have nothing even slightly negative to say about him, and him putting people on like that, and him doing the work, all the extra work to make sure that's all happening. It was so impressive to see. I got to see you shoot your backstage thing, and I have never seen that much raw talent in my life of somebody and I don't know how much I'm allowed to say here, so I'm going to not say too much
generalize, but I know where you're going. I can pick up with what I'm comfortable when I go
for it.
Right?
Go for it.
Is the idea, of course, that all right, cool, we're doing this thing. If you didn't watch him, basically they used WWE 2K to simulate two matches, one on one night one and one on the other one. And then it was this idea.
KFW, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Cowards around. And then, they showed the footage. We all react to it. They talk about what happened. Well, let's find out how this rivalry actually began. And it was right before the match. And so, yeah, the night you were there for night 2, it was this thing of like, okay, cool. And there's some promo copy that you need to say about Peacock. And they gave it to him. And it was a paragraph. And he had this moment of like, I need to memorize all this. Oh, I thought it was going to be shorter. And like, yeah. And so he sat there while everybody fucked around behind him. We were all fucking around talking to each other, right? And it was like in 30 seconds a minute, he was like, all right, let's go.
Literally 30
and
seconds.
He did the first take, and they were like, oh, we actually left off one word in the
They
copy.
fucked up.
We left that. Can you do it again? He's like, yeah, let's do it again.
With new copy?
And it's one take. There's no edit. There's no time for an edit. You know what I mean? Like, you got to see... This is how they did the JBL bit with me too, right? Where they have this cart, they wheel around with the monitor and all the equipment. They get there, they shoot the bit, they watch the bit back so they can make time codes to say, all right, we're sending it to the truck, started at, 003 and ended at 108 or whatever the hell it is. And so like, yeah, they did one take, we watched, like, oh, I forgot that one word. And it was their fault. And he's like, yep, okay.
Jesus.
Went back and did it again. And even for the one you watched, it was a similar thing where it was like, they wanted one specific thing that they said and he got, and I'm like, you could give me the teleprompter and like, yo, great read. Next time after this, insert that, and I would probably still fuck that up.
That's why I pre-edit all the shit that I send to Roger whenever I'm talking on camera, because it's like 30 different takes. That is the most impressive shit of all time.
Yeah, it was insane. Like how good he is at that.
Yeah.
But the other thing in the tweet was Becky of just like again like
You're so sweet.
I've worked with Becky twice before. Once the 2018 Rocket League activation we did at Comic-Con, which is where I first met her, and it was also, of course, with Austin. But it was all of us, and we hung out for the day, and like, I don't think we had like an in-depth conversation, but she met me there. Then I don't know if you followed Becky Lynch's career, or if you haven't paid attention. She was not nobody, but she was not the man when she did the Rocket League thing. She then fucking took over the world, being the man, then big time Bex, and has become the champion and done all stuff, gotten married, had a baby, like, you know what I mean, like. There's so much shit Becky's gone and done like in this crazy way. And
I feel like at the Rumble that we went to, that's like she was a president.
That was
we
when
were
she was
white
white hot. That was her like.
Remember we went to we were in the Mania in New York where she won the title. Yeah. And so and when at Royal Rumble when I did the ratings reveal with all them, she walked in and they were very much like, have you ever met Greg before? And I went, yeah, we worked together once. She's like, oh yeah, the Rocket League. And I was like, holy shit. And so again, as I put in the tweet, but expand on it more, like, right, it's like being backstage, like I'm feeling it in quotes, like I'm, because everybody they're a family. And I mean they're a family in the same way, like Woods knows every wrestler, but also knows the makeup people and the prop people and this and that. They travel the world together doing this. Like they're close knit. So coming in and knowing who I know and who I can talk to, and then we can go shoot the shit with Big E or whatever, or this producer or whatever is one thing. But then, to be walking around the thing and run into Becky Lynch standing there with Lita, right, and Natalia, and her to be like, stop their conversation, be like, Greggy. And I'm like, well, that's like a different level of like, introduce me, and I'm like, all right, what's up? All right, well, have a great show. And they were wrestling that night. They were in their gear. They were ready to go. It's like fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Like that's a possibility.
You mentioning that they're a family and how Austin knows everybody who works backstage and everything. Did you all see the clip of John Cena talking to the cameraman?
Stu?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's always got all the clips. It's great.
Great clip. Yeah. I guess like some people were noticing that he was always talking to the the dude who walks around with the little mobile camera or whatever as he's walking to the stage. And over several years, it's him being like, let's do this, Stu. Come on, let's rock. And the next one, it's another one of him like, hey, you're looking good, Stu. Great to see you, brother. And like, he just seems like such a sweet man,
for sure.
Like, I love that shit. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
Stu can't even see him.
Like after all these years.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing. I don't want to say a bunch of stuff that I think is embargoed back there, but like seeing John Cena interact with a whole bunch of young kids back there, it was really really cool. Let alone, of course, there's a clip that WWE put out of like last night on Sunday, night 2, Bianca Belair came out with all the dancing kids in the troupe, and there was that video of Seth Rollins like cheering them all on and saying they stole the show and yada yada. Let alone the sadder story.
Which there's an update to the sad story. So it was Triple H at the press conference afterwards had said that Bianca Belair, who's absolutely incredible performer.
EST of WWE.
Exactly. She's the best of greatest of everything, all that stuff.
Strongest, greatest.
She's now won 3 WrestleManias in a row. I want to say that's correct. Totally dominant run. She's so fantastic. And her intro, she came out with like this whole squad of dancers from Compton. They killed it. And there was this.
They were all children.
Children, yes. Yeah. Like maybe like between 5 and 10, it seemed. Dancers, they did such a great job. And one of them was this contortionist, and she crushed it. And then at the press conference after it, Triple H had said that earlier that day, her mother had died, which is like extremely sad, obviously. And it's still extremely sad, but that's not quite the story. She had died a couple months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but just, I don't know, a lot of people were talking about that, but it's still very special stuff. And like, there's so much like love and care put into this.
For sure. Yeah. And yeah, to see
that
them
intro
hyping
was
them
adorable.
up there. Yeah.
And a lot of love backstage.
Yeah,
we
of
saw
course.
Ricochet, who looked like $1 million, came
talking
right
to
up to
him.
Greg, said really nice things to Greg, which was great.
And that was after his match.
That was late
because
night.
I was like, you fucking killed it. Because that was the whole thing. It was like, Ricochet, if you're paying attention, you know how talented he is and how amazing he is. So when I gave him his rating, and I want to say it was like an 82 or something, it was way too low. But I was like, this, and he came back after. He had a great match. I was like, this is gonna get your rating up. This is what it's all about, man. Get it out there and do the thing.
Now we've given enough flowers. Let's talk about the shenanigans.
Let's
Because man,
shenan
oh
it up.
man, I was handed the badge. Right now, I have all the power in the world.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. Like, again,
supervision needed,
So
Andy.
scary.
That's what it said on the big piece of paper with all the security guards. No supervision needed.
straight up, dude. And that's the thing is like, these are not like all access passes. These are, you're working the event passes. You get to do anything you want passes. And Mike had one of
I
these.
point at my chest, Andy, and you say, you go.
Me and Sancho were laughing at you so hard from up top after night 1 when you and it's Greg and Mike who have that moment of like, should we take these WrestleMania chairs? Nah, it's going to be too much hassle. But we see him walking to the backstage and Mike doing the showing his badge to everybody. Like, I just like from afar, I'm like, I fucking hate this man. Like, he's just so.
It was even better
annoying.
last night because like me and Tim were both wearing blazers, and so like on the one of the final approaches, the woman's like, "Hey, where's your pad?" And I pulled that. She's like, "You got to wear it." I'm like, "Oh, I'm on camera." So she's like, "Oh, we'll put it on the inside of your coat." And I was like, "Oh
Damn,
man!" And I
that's even
did it.
cooler.
So now I'm
Yeah,
flat.
that's even
I was
cooler,
flashing
dude.
everybody. Now I felt like a badass.
And so, as Greg will tell you, of course, when we were in the belly of the beast, he noticed me point at all the security guards. I was making friends with them because I knew.
And that's the
I'd
thing.
be
I'll
back.
full stop you. I'll full
I'd
stop
be
you.
back.
It's Mike Howard has this innate, insane, amazing ability to befriend any hospitality worker. And I think it comes from your own background.
yeah.
But it's like you've told these stories before with the box where you abandoned Andy or this, that, and the other.
The random guy who has my phone number now.
Yeah, this guy.
'cause Mike introduced us to him, and I was like, "Wait, you didn't know that guy?"
But like Mike would leave me for like 4 minutes and come back, and then an hour later, we'd go to an elevator, and Mike would know this woman's entire story, and they'd have an inside joke and yada yada yada.
the dude at the Xbox event who Mike had this thing with because of his hoodie, and Mike we'd go back, and Mike would be like, "Hey, I'm back, man." And he'd be like, "Hey, did you get a hoodie for me? Because I like that hoodie." And like, "Oh, come on, Mike, you know what's up?" I'm like, "How the fuck?"
And so like I don't, but it's like I've seen it now, from ground zero where he doesn't interact. It's just they can sense his positivity, and so we got there. If you want to throw up the one Kevin that was not that it matters, bumming around on the floor.
Poor boy Danny.
We went down there. We were like, let's walk over to the wall. Let's go. Triple H is over there. Stephanie McMahon's over there. All these people, they're doing their jobs and whatever. We're like, well, let's walk over to ringside. Let's get to the wall, take a photo when we can, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, this is it. Right to my right in this photo is the event staff security guard who's like the ones in the back, sitting back there, right? And as soon as we approached, that dude points at me and he goes, "I love your show." And I was wearing the "This Is Awesome" shirt. I was like, "Oh man, thank you so much." He's like, "Yeah, I used to wrestle a bit. My wife does now. I know I'm more of a promoter side of it." I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool." And we're just shooting the shit. And Mike's, of course, chatting it up with him, chopping it up. We take the photo. We're all fine. And we're like, hang out a bit. And then we're like, all right, let's go. And before we leave, that guy's like, hold on a second. I want to give you
You still got it.
this. Oh, I knew I'd have props for this. I knew we were doing the show, right? And he hands me this. And it's his pitch for what should happen tomorrow. Like it's his it's like his writing sample to be a WWE writer. And like I was like, oh my God, awesome. Because like again, like, oh right. To you, I'm WWE. Like I'm actually like somebody who could make these decisions happen or whatever. But it's awesome because he sent this to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and Danny Garcia. Like, this was his pitch of, like, this is why if you were going to come out
And
after...
who's Danny Garcia?
Oh, Rock's manager. Ex-wife, too. Really cool relationship. But it's like, it's this whole thing of, like, how it should end when after the Roman Cody match or whatever. And he's got this whole thing. And I'm like, damn it, if you're out there watching, I won't name names. I don't want to get you in trouble with security guards. That'll be the next story.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you in trouble with your job. But like, I took it backstage. Big E looked through it. Like we were going through it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they can't take it, but that was it.
I do want to just reiterate, or not reiterate, but just read a comment really quick from Juan Martin in the chat who says the SoFi staff was so nice.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
The SoFi, like everybody walking, I feel like it was maybe their first time working an event. They didn't feel jaded by any of this. And they were like, have a great WrestleMania, y'all. Like, everybody was just so nice and positive.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's never the case at any event I ever go to.
And so we pull away from this guy, say our goodbyes or whatever, and we're walking back, like, all right, let's get backstage, start getting ready, blah, blah, blah. And another security guard comes over, and he's like, hey, man, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take a photo of me, but I can't look like you're taking the photo of me, and then you'll text it to me, and that way I can have a photo. And Mike's like, of course, homie, I got you. And like busts out his phone, takes the and like, of course, two other security guards who are his friends. I'm like, oh man, come on, what are you doing or whatever? And the guy's like, oh my God, thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no big deal, we got you, don't worry about it. And then Andy give me a hand. He comes out to shake my hand. He's like, my name is Castro, like Fidel. This is just my part-time gig. This is where I really work. Come by tonight. We're open till 5. And it's a Deja Vu, the strip club.
Deja Vu Showgirls. $2 Tuesdays, all well drinks, $2, 5 to 11 p.m. DejaVu.com.
I was like, thank you, Castro. Thank you.
Yeah, they have DejaVu.com. I feel like that's a really
good name. That's right.
Good domain
Yeah,
name to have.
yeah.
And so, now I have the all access. Me and Greg have, said our goodbyes to Dan. We've made our way up to the penthouse, back up to see John Drake and Andrea and the whole gang. And we're watching it. And of course, Greg knows I'm about to go get lost. And I immediately go right back to the elevator. I see my gal. I'm talking with her. I go, Susan, I'm about to have a good time. She goes, I can tell you're going to do something. And I said, yep. Immediately, I'm in the tunnel all by myself now, walking it. I'm seeing everybody you could imagine. And what do? I see the stage, and I go, I'm about to get front row on this thing. I am now 3 rows back watching Rhea Ripley become the champion against Charlotte Flair.
Match.
And it was one of the coolest matches ever. Then what do I get? Greg Miller. Let's go down. Big time.
I'm coming down. It was the main event. Come on. Sami Zayn.
Me and Greg.
KO,
go right
the
back down.
Usos.
I already know the path, Greg. Follow me. We're there. We are now 3 rows away from watching greatness happen during this tag team match.
Looking at this photo, and then even if you're an audio listener, right, like, how WWE main cam shoots one side of the arena. The other side is often where, and I shouldn't say even often, always where we sit with our comp seats, right? Because those are the friends and family, lots of times family, right? Like, I was joking around about it, but in this match, when we were sitting there, it's, Sammy and Kevin, both Quebecois, and I have quite the history with that. So I'm yelling a lot of inside Quebec references out there, and I was cracking these 2 older women in front of me up. I'm like, well, there's clearly moms or aunts or whatever to these people. They understand what's going on. And so it's that idea of like friends and family will cycle through those seats sometimes. Partners will be there all day long or whatever, but you can cycle in and out. So oftentimes there's empty seats. So like, yeah, when you're at the final 2 matches and you're seeing empty seats, it's fine. Just like last night where me and Tim were together all day long, and then I got Mike a third pass. And it was like, let's go down from the main event. Let's go down and see Roman versus Cody from front row. And then we got there, and there was like all kinds of shenanigans of,
God.
You want to talk about a different vibe, the main event of WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
There's guys down there who are not WWE security that have the like
security.
have the like personal security, IFBs in like Secret Service. There was some dude in a suit holding guys for a bunch of, it was like, we still made it work. We'd sit for a while. Somebody would show up. That's our seat. Oh my God, please go for it. We have we work here. Don't worry. We move around, move around.
Yep.
It was great for me and Sancho to just track you all as y'all were moving around.
So many people sent photos and tweets of like, your jacket's so loud. We can see you getting.
Well, it was the red and gold jacket.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
it was perfect.
And then Mike with this killer hair.
Come on.
On night one,
for the boys.
night one, me and Sancho went to go get food, and then I get a text from Mike like, hey, are you in the booth? Are you in the box? I need help getting in. And I was like, no, we're getting food. He's like, and then 10 minutes later, don't worry, I got the key figured out or whatever. And me and Sancho were just chilling in the box, and Mike would be like, look at Mike's eyes. Like, he's just plotting. So I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to be, he doesn't want to be here right now. He's going to be
on the next step.
He is going to be somewhere else very soon.
Last night was the exact same thing. where we sat down in the booth. Mike shows up late as hell or whatever, and comes up, and then immediately, what was it? Dad something or other? What's the hard seltzer that was next to us?
Oh, Happy Dad was next to us.
Literally,
Yeah, the
Mike's
Happy
like,
Dad dudes.
Happy Dad! And I look over, and like there's these guys like with Happy Dad. And I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh, that it's a hard
The
seltzer.
Nelk
And then
Boys
I think it was
Brownies,
somebody else
yeah.
is like, oh yeah, that's their booth. Like that, those like the CEOs, the creators or whatever. And so like for the next 15 minutes, wrestling's happening that way, and Mike's just eyeing the entire over there. You can see his wheels turning. I'm like, how do I get into that booth? I want to go into that skybox
Wherever
now and be
I'm
with the
at,
Happy
I'm not
Dad.
happy.
Yeah.
The grass is always greener.
I got to get over there and be with the Happy Dad at their beer pong table.
Two great ones from day 2 for me was I was with James and Elise, and we wanted to go to the level 2 box to go see James and Elise's friends, right? And so, of course, SoFi, it's a madhouse to start off the one because we were going there right away. Every security guard is like, no, because we're showing them we got level 4 skybox. You can't come down to 2. I'm trying to flash the badge. And, of course, it's me. So I'm hey, Ryan, we're going to be all right. And Ryan just lets us go by. Hey, we get to this
That was this
point.
weird Jedi mind trick. You know what I mean?
Door guy Danny, he lets us in. Now we're in there.
Always door guy Danny.
Hanging out, right? And Elise is looking at me. She goes, man, I'm really hungry. We got to go get some popcorn. James is going to stay for a little bit. I go, that's great, Elise. Let's do that, right? We step out of this box. Greg, to my left. To the right is the exit. To the left, there's a hallway. And I just see it out of the corner of my eye. The best VIP box dinner you've ever seen. The guy has got the brisket on the table. He's hand cutting it. She's got mini street tacos. They got mashed potatoes. And I grab Elise and I go, follow me. And we turn. And we are now in the Skybox, nice restaurant.
But this isn't the Skybox.
This is
your
not
friend.
our Sky. Oh no, this is the friend Skybox.
Okay.
Where you leave the Skybox and now you're in like
The promenade.
open territory.
Okay. Because I think that's where they
Everybody's got
priority
the
pass.
sweet wristbands on.
See, I think
and
that's
I'm
WWE priority pass.
And
what
I'm
you
looking
stuck
at
on
Elise.
her.
I'm like, don't even look around. Just get the food, and we're getting food.
Poor
right?
Elise.
And so Elise is looking
And
at me.
imagine how quick Mike would have turned and burned on her. If anything went wrong, he's gone, and Elise is like, I'm Canadian. I don't know what I did.
And I
He
love
turns
it,
around,
too.
Mike is front row.
Because, like, dude, when we at night 2, when we did go down that second time, when the second round of security people came, like, I started getting the feeling of like, whew, I know I can be here, but I know I'm not supposed to be here. And I know Greg had the same, at least
I was
similar-
doing the like, is it worth it?
Is
like,
this worth it?
We're
Whatever.
all negotiating and jumping around. They're cleaning up fucking Edge and Finn. They're dead out there. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
And I just love that, like, we're with Mike, and we both, without talking about it, had this feeling of like, we got Mike. We got Mike.
We're
Mike's,
there, bro.
Mike's like, I got 3 over here, but I also know that there's 3 back there. And if we need to go, we can
Straight
go
up.
over there. Yeah.
Mike is looking at his drone footage. Like, yeah, there's also 5 free on section 3.
And so, yeah, we had this incredible meal there. There's only 4 people in there. So it's like I'm trying to like cover my wrists. I'm trying to keep Elise low. So now we have plates of food.
Contraband Elise.
Plates of food that you can't. I'm not gonna walk out on the SoFi like normal concourse with like these hard plates of food. And so there's only 3 people there. I'm like, well, we can't eat here.
Hold on.
We go back towards the box. You can't open the box door without the key.
Without the key, yeah.
So now we're in the hallway eating in front of the service staff, having our own private conversation. Nobody says anything. They're all very polite to us. We hand our plates off, and I go, time to go back. And we just walk away fully fed, full belly.
I need to know this. If that room had like only vegetables and fruit, would you still have gone for the vegetables and
they
fruit?
only had, no,
like,
never.
what, okay, I was wondering, like,
Yeah,
did it
no.
even matter what the meal
Yeah,
was?
it was just this free. I'm not supposed to be
If
here.
it was liver and onions, Mike is still gonna go to eat that shit. because he's
And
not-
to be extremely clear here, we had free food. Or paid for food.
Yeah,
we had
food in the
food.
box.
We had
We
food
had
in the box.
chicken tenders.
We had food, unlimited food in the actual all behind the scenes passes. Like you
Well-
just wanted the shit that wasn't yours.
That's a perfect example of that night 1. Next door to our box was a whole nother row of boxes. Flashed my pass in there. Hot dogs, chicken tenders. Because when we ran out of chicken tenders, I went over there. I started eating that food. Had a whole box to myself at once.
Is that where the hot dog came from?
That's hot dog came
I'm
from.
watching the fucking show. All of a sudden, a hot dog shows up, and it's a hot dog in a bun with a third of a bun. I was like, thanks, man.
when we're at brunch Sunday morning with James Elise and Chris Anka and Kevin Asa X, I look at Mike and he has his wallet out with the pass and he has a Sharpie with him. I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, I asked Chris to bring me a Sharpie. And he's like changing the date on the VIP pass
4-2.
on the all at 4-2. I was like, is that going to work? And he's like, look, Greg and Tim are going to be able to walk everywhere. I'm not going to let them hold me back from greatness.
Hold me back. Great.
Did you need to use it? Because we got you the one, but it came
never
later in the
did.
show.
Yeah,
Okay,
you guys,
good. Okay,
I mean,
good,
I
good.
did use it beforehand. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're just fine. But then you got me the official one.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
used that one.
yeah.
But
You didn't think to give me the other one?
no.
Do you want to go down for that?
You
You know, it wouldn't work because you don't have the magic mojo. You would get caught, and then nobody would have any record of who you
I'd
are.
be the Elise in this situation. I would just walk around and just like I'd act like I didn't speak English or something.
I bought it on the street. You're like, in Spanish. I bought it on the street.
Yeah. Then my final one
nothing.
was, of course, the cage match. I told Greg and Tim, I was like, I'm gonna get up there and see that cage. And sure as shit, halftime hit. Night 2 a little rushed. We'll talk about the show and stuff later, but like night 2 a little rushed. All of a sudden, I got to get up and move because they're lowering the cage. And so I rushed down there. Now I'm in the belly of the beast. I know my steps. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
First guy, he checks me. He tries to check me. Oh, no, man, you can't come in here. You got to have a ticket. And I'm going, oh, man, you're the first dude to check me. I see literally a line 20 feet the other way. I just go over to that girl. She lets me in. I'm like, oh, yeah, here I go. I'm 4 rows away from the cage. I might as well have Finn Balor's blood on my face.
I challenge anybody to stop this man. Just once for what?
Amazing.
So then, Tim, well, actually,
was a good match.
I want to jump to your backstage stuff, but first, I'll tell you about Patreon.com/KindaFunny on Patreon.com/KindaFunny. Of course, you can be part of the show by watching live, just like Alex, G3B is, Juan is, and Matthew are. Of course, you could also get it on demand, ad-free, as a video, as a podcast. You could watch the other shows live as we record them. You could get dozens of exclusive episodes of content over on Patreon.com/KindaFunny. But guess what, Jack? You're not on Patreon.com/KindaFunny. So here's a word from our sponsor.
Shout out to Evil Dead Rise for sponsoring this episode. You can get your tickets now to see Evil Dead Rise in theaters April 21st. People are saying this movie is absolutely terrifying, and I personally can't wait to see it in a theater because there's few things in life are as special as watching a real scary horror movie surrounded by people freaking out with you. Moving the action out of the woods and into the city, Evil Dead Rise tells a twisted tale of two estranged sisters played by Sullivan and Sutherland, whose reunion is cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, if I had a nickel, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. New Line Cinema and Renaissance Pictures present a return to the iconic horror franchise, and we are hitting entirely new levels of fear here with this one. I don't know if you've seen the trailers for this, but wow, you definitely should. You look like you need a little bit of fear in your life. And then you can go to EvilDeadRiseMovie.com to get your tickets now to see Evil Dead Rise in theaters April 21st. Shout out to Shady Rays for sponsoring this episode. Do you want to look as cool as I look? Yes, you do. And you can. You can take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an unbeatable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair that I've ever worn in my life. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. Exclusively for you listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. You can go to shadyrays.com and use the code KindaFunny. You can get 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. You can try for yourself the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Promo code KindaFunny at shadyrays.com.
So now, Tim, talk to me about your backstage experience this time around.
So it starts off with, again, so I did the Mario thing on Saturday, and it went, despite not being able to pull a perfect Boy Meets World date episode where, ironically, if you remember, Corey had to
go see
he had a date, but then he also had to go to a wrestling match, and then he tried like bouncing back and forth between the two. I tried doing that, and I pulled it off, I would say 85% of the way, but that 15% really hurt, you know?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I fucked up, and it wasn't even my fault, life happens, is one of my goals in life. Like, one of my goals was to get to a world premiere of a movie I really care about. I did that with Spider-Man No Way Home, and that was fucking awesome. Then, of course, the Mario movie. I'm like, I'm trying to do this. But what I did not get at Spider-Man that I was like, I need to level up and get this is the Getty Images photo.
You want the
right?
photos on the red
I
carpet,
want the photo on the red carpet with the Getty Images thing. Like, come on, that's fucking awesome. I was told the wrong information, got sent the wrong direction, and I was given it. I was on the list. It was supposed to be me and Gia getting Getty Images. Nah.
Sonic Movie 3.
So
You'll be there.
We'll have to get there. You know what I mean? Hey, there's many opportunities ahead of us. Fast 10. If you know someone, hit me up. So
okay, well, first off, if you just know somebody for any movie that's having a red carpet premiere, invite them. It doesn't.
I'll figure it out. I'll dress up. I'll have a whole outfit. It's going to be great. But because of that, I was just like, I can't fuck around anymore. Like, there's been a couple decisions I've made that, like, just because I didn't commit hard enough, I didn't get what I wanted. So on the way to meet Greg backstage, because now it's day 2. I'm like, all right, cool. This is my hangout with Greg day. We're gonna get there. Like,
sounds excited about it, doesn't he?
So, dude, so fucking excited.
All right, this is my fucking day.
I did not say it that way. I was so fucking stoked to the point that I like, and Gia, the goddamn best, like, she knew. She was like, Tim, like, the moment when it comes, like, go with Greg. Like, there's a pool here. And by the way, I've dreamed my entire life of this, but to be somewhere where the pool is just a giant hot tub, and I don't know what the fuck it was the biggest pool I've ever seen in my life, and the biggest hot tub, but the hot tub was freezing cold, and the giant pool was a hot tub. And, like, not just, it was kind of a warm pool. It was like 98 degrees.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It was insane. I had a great time.
Something's broken.
At your hotel, the one you stayed at.
Yeah.
No way, bro. That was the wackiest hotel I've ever seen in my life, bro.
Shit was crazy.
It wasn't a great experience.
Yeah, ups and downs.
Wasn't worth the
ups
money.
and downs. Giving it an up.
Spent a lot of money on it.
But with that, G was great. I was like, I'm so excited to spend the day with Greg. It's wrestling time, baby. I missed night 1. We're going hard for night 2. It was so hot. Blisteringly hot because it's LA, right? And I had to do like a 30-minute walk to get to SoFi. First off, SoFi Stadium. Oh,
amazing.
My God.
Amazing.
It might be the most epic place I've ever been. Like, the scale and, like, scope of it all was just next level. The amount of video walls, I didn't know that was possible.
But
like,
build stuff around it, okay?
like
Build stuff, yeah.
Build some stuff around it.
It's coming. They're building.
Yeah,
I mean,
well-
it's a brand new place. It's
Well,
like,
you know, they got the stadium open. Maybe they should open some businesses too.
I mean, hey, we had some good in and out.
Yeah, we did.
some
This
great
guy, this
In-N-Out.
fucking
I got it out
In-N-Out
last night.
hater. I like. He's just sitting there eating these fries. I knew you didn't like.
I
it, but
needed
you had
something to
do
stuff
it.
my fucking
I
belly.
fucking get
I would have eaten the styrofoam, bro.
100%,
I mean,
man.
it was styrofoam, but yeah. Keep
Oh,
going.
God, there was so much shit.
Yeah.
But so I was like, I don't want to. I have to do this 30-minute walk. Like, do I really want to? Like, what am I gonna wear? And, like, I had again, my planning was horrible. I was like, this outfit I'm wearing right now was what I was like gonna have to end up wearing to day 2 of Mania, just because of how I fucked up. And I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna wear a version of my suit from the Mario thing. I'm gonna go all out because last time when we did SummerSlam, I had professional photos taken. This time, I could look dope as fuck, and it's going to be worth it. And I'm so happy I did, because I walk there, get it, with my yellow blazer. First thing I see Greg, and I'm like, we're about to rock
Poppy
today.
is set up.
We're about to rock today. And within 10 minutes, we're in the fucking professional photo booth thing. They're
Yes.
taking pictures.
Yeah.
We had like 100 pictures taken of us. I can't wait for these, dude.
Kevin, can you toss up, Tim and Greg on the ramp in case people didn't see it? Yeah, you know, day 2, obviously the set's been revealed, so it was a bit more like, take some photos, do whatever. So, you know, they walked us out there. Not only, so we have this photo here of us on the ramp, which is just ridiculous to think about.
Ridiculous. We're on the WrestleMania
ramp,
ramp,
right?
For what is undeniably a top 3 WrestleMania set of all
I
time.
think it's the best one.
Like, between this and the Orlando one, the roller coaster themed one.
Yeah.
Those two.
I like this one more.
That
Personally.
one, but that had video floor ramp. That had the whole
Yeah,
roller
yeah.
coaster background. Anyway, SoFi Stadium, way doper.
So what's insane about it is we have this photo from Dan, the producer, who's walking us around, who we got to walk around with his nephew and his brother and sister-in-law. That was awesome. Hung out with them all day too. But we get this photo, and then we also are going to get this photo from the actual professional WWE photographer who was there, because they were taking photos on the ramp, so they took photos of us here. What Tim's talking about, like the one you see for KindaFunny Games Daily every day, me, like the new headshot that wasn't nice enough to replace all the stuff is from SummerSlam. This time, we got back there and we're suited up, so we look good. So we got those taken. And so, we got the individuals, we got then the group together. And then at the end, they're like, is there anything else you want? And Tim's like, what do we need for thumbnails?
So we have a bunch of me and Greg, like, he was like, confused. And we sad, happy. Like, we just go through it all.
And the best part is,
Thank
I think it's confused that we missed. We're like, what other emotions do we need? And the 10-year-old boy with us was like, confused. They're like, thank you.
Great.
Yeah, awesome. That is what we need.
Yeah,
And we did
it was awesome.
But and then there was like in the middle of this, right? I'm getting my photos taken, and I'm posing on the backdrop, and they're doing the whole thing, and I'm having a great time. And like, I'm a third into what would be the photo shoot, and I see through the roll door Stacy Keebler walk with her people and stop and look in at me getting photos. And I have that moment in my head of, I don't know Stacy Keebler, obviously, that changes my thing, but I have that moment of like, shit. And it's all a split second, nanoseconds of how my brain works. I'm like, do I try to keep being professional, Greg? She doesn't know me, so do I just keep taking photos, or do I stop everything and say, Stacy Keebler, get in here and take a photo with me? And I was like, I'm gonna pick be professional, Greg. I don't know her. I don't want to scare her off. I don't want to do whatever. And so yeah, she went, and I came off. We came off, and I told Tim, I'm like, dude, it's one of those rare misses where I regret my decision. I usually don't regret a decision, blah blah. And I'm like, I know I'm gonna get another shot, blah blah. And so when we got out to take those ramp photos, yeah, she was out there. If you toss it back up, Kevin. And so like, you know, they were literally like, you guys are up next for your ramp photos. The professional photographer who was not stoked to be taking all these photos of people on the ramp, because it was like
they were literally doing rehearsals.
Yeah, yeah. We won't name names.
Nope.
People were coming through and doing like their entrances and all these different things and blah blah. And so like, we were next. I'm like, this is the shot, Tim. We walked over. I'm like, hey, Stacy. And she's like,
me and Greg, like, we turned into little kids. Like, we just together just start freaking out. Like, we got to get Stacy a picture. We got to try.
What do we do?
How do we do this? What's the best way? It's like, we got it. So we walk over, and she was so nice.
Yeah,
so great.
Yeah.
Picture with Greg, picture with me. I'm like, I'm living.
Yeah, and the photo obviously for me is inside the Hearn Center buying tickets in 2003. 20 years ago was when I got that. She came through with Tess to like, you know, thanks for buying tickets in Missouri or whatever. And
what's
so I guess
unbelievable is how Stacy Keebler has just been an absolute bombshell her whole life. But Greg somehow still aged better.
I know.
Like, and that seems like that's an impossible statement.
Yeah.
Like, Greg, you look so goddamn good in this photo, and Stacy Keebler looks amazing, and this is just like the coolest evolution of two people. Like, I this is arguably my favorite photo of the weekend that you took. I think it's such a cool kind of like
juxtaposition.
Look
there.
at this.
Look,
and
look what's possible.
And that's what's so crazy about it. Again, you know, the reflection of this weekend that I'm still processing of just like the Greg you see there with Stacy Keebler in 2003, right? Never imagined this. You know what I mean? I think I always talk about it. You know, like, it's a well-worn Greg Miller story of in the 4th grade, I decided what I want to do with my life and write about video games, right? I remember when they started the year of 4th grade, and there was the time capsule that our teacher did, and they passed a tape recorder around. And in that one, I hadn't figured it out yet about writing about video games, and it was, I want to be a professional wrestler. So like this Greg in college, you know, was never like, I'm going to work for WWE one day. I'm going to have this option. I'm going to be backstage and yada, yada. Like that shit just never was like a real thing to think about. And so the fact that like we're living that and we're wandering around and like, you know, it's funny too of like, you know, I had brought the suit coat for the pre-show because I knew I was doing that. And so like when we went day one, it was just like, okay, we're just backstage, whatever. I'll wear that. This is awesome. And then when they were like, and I was backstage and like, it's rare. I'm me all the time. And I was backstage. I'm like, fuck, I am underdressed. I should have brought a suit for this day too. Because it's like, if the WWE producers and personnel, they're in suits. The performers are either obviously in schlub clothes if they're not getting ready yet, or workout clothes if they're not, and then they're in their outfits and stuff. And then it is like the looky-loo families that are in their normal clothes or whatever. And I was like, this is the last time I will be backstage in a jeans and a t-shirt and a sweatshirt.
Level up, man.
And then, of course, for Woods to be like, you want to be in this thing and be in Mania? I was like, fuck yes, but I got to be in it tomorrow too. Yeah. So I show up in a suit.
And then we look, there's a picture of us with Austin, and like, God, we look fucking awesome.
Great photo.
But it was so fucking great because we were walking around and everyone's complimenting us.
Yeah.
Like all the WWE stars, like, y'all look so good. Like people are asking like where we got our suits. One of my favorite moments of the entire weekend was the very end last night after the main event. We go backstage and we go to the bathroom. And we're all like at the urinals and stuff. And like there's this dude, I don't know who he was, but he was clearly a family member of them. Like he must have been a Roman Reigns family, which also includes the Rock family, like family member. And he was like, looking at Greg. He's like, "Oh my God, your jacket's incredible." They start talking. Then he looks at me. He's like, "Oh my God, you look great." Like, whoa, you guys, like, where'd you get those things? And we're just like, yeah, Nordstrom, Macy's, like whatever. And he's like,
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. How much does that cost? How much does that cost? And he's like, "Nah, bro, that's Prada. That's Prada."
That was $80.
And it was the funny thing of like, yeah, that happened over and over again. And then, yeah, the people, like when we were walking just back, even people who did, I texted Jen in between the stadium and before Simon Miller or whatever. And I was like, because she was texting something and I wasn't responding. And I was like, I'm sorry. It's like I'm walking through E3 right now. Because we were getting stopped every 5 feet, which is always an amazing feeling. It's such a difference from SummerSlam. Because again, we were getting stopped for Kind of Funny, but we were also getting stopped for This Is Awesome. So it wasn't like we're just talking to best friends, which is never bad, don't get me wrong, but like
new best friends.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like the amount of people that this time are like the amount of people I talked to yesterday at the pre-show thing that came up to me and wanted pictures with me. They were like, I found out about you guys because of This Is Awesome.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
When I came off
I
came off the stage for the pre-show, it was this one poor bastard who just had a Nitro Rifle shirt and Nitro Rifle sweatshirt. I was like, oh man, you got fleeced.
There's
you know what I mean?
Andy's Twitter has a picture on stage.
But there was that, and there was Kind of Funny best friends that were in the This Is Awesome. Sorry, Mr. Hawks is when we ran into him there, right? But then there were all these other people that were like, oh, hey, can you sign my program? Can you sign my championship belt?
Greg
I was like,
was signing championship belts,
I'm like,
y'all.
I'm a WWE person, you're not a Kind of Funny person. That's fucking weird. Awesome, but weird, right?
Yeah, I want to jump off of yours with the Stacy Keebler. That's how it was with Rhea Ripley with me and Greg. Of like, it was the third time, and I looked at Greg and I was like, "We're gonna do this."
Third time
like,
again.
Whatever you want to.
She had won the title.
Yeah,
She,
moments before
full
this.
gear. Because like, mind you, the first time we saw her, she was just in basic workout clothing, just hanging out, walking, and took my breath away to the point where I was like, I didn't even ask for a photo. I wasn't ready at that moment, right? And so, second time I saw her, we were both getting food, and I locked eyes with her, and I was like, not going to ask here.
It was our Keeley moment.
It was a Keeley moment all over again. And there she is, belt in her hand, eating a Twix bar, smiling, having the greatest time.
Show some respect to Snickers. She had just
Sponsored
come off
by Snickers.
She just came off the press
by
conference
Snickers.
that is sponsored by Snickers. So she's.
And I looked at Greg and I was like, this is our moment. And he goes, whatever you want to do, Mike. And I said, I'm going to take a step. We're going to do this. And I took one step, and Greg was right behind me, and we took another step, and we walked right up to her. Biggest smile on her face, happy to say hello to us, introduced ourselves immediately, recognized Greg, took a photo with us, the nicest around. It was awesome. Well worth it.
My God, dude. That picture you'll have forever, dude.
I'll have that moment forever. All these moments I'll have. There was so many jabronis in the back that I'll always have this moment. I was eyeing up jabronis in the back, man. You should have saw me, bro. You should.
Couldn't only name 4 of them, but
But, yeah, you got to dress a little bit classier. That was I wouldn't call it a regret because I was rocking the Rock t-shirt, you know what I mean? But like, if Greg is like, hey, Mike, I'm going to take you back there from now or the next time, I'm going to wear a turtleneck and chain, or I'm going to do something a little bit, one level
elevated,
up, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
I think when you look nicer and you have the backstage thing, who knows? You could be a host on something.
Legit, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was.
Microphone is right. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Let me tell you, this one jabroni's finding this other guy. What's his name?
All right, dog water.
Well, yeah, I want to get Andy involved because we have some funny stories with Andy, you and I. Of course, we went gambling.
Yeah.
Well, I
Who you
went
gambling.
Oh, man.
Dude, I'll tell you. So, like, again,
I went gambling.
This build stuff around SoFi isn't a new vibe for me because I love a stadium that is surrounded by stuff. I've told it before, but again, when I went to Survivor Series at LA Live, which is where E3 is in the convention center, where Game Awards is, like, it was the most perfect setup of cool. Stay at the JW, elevator down from your room. Walk 5 feet to Staples Center. You're in the event. Come down, go out. There's a million restaurants. There's all this stuff. And it'll be batshit crazy because there's thousands of people there. But it's like, there's stuff. And you're also in LA if you wanted to get out of there. Go to Kohl's. What up? And so, like, I had done the scouting of, like, cool. We're going. We're doing this. John's in. He's getting the skybox. Great. Look at SoFi. And I'm like, shit, there aren't even, like, good hotels around it, let alone options for this. And it's like, fuck. And it's like, we will need to Uber, but it will be nightmarish out where trying to get there. And so it's like my thought was, my battle plan with Mike night 1 was, we finish the show, let's go back downstairs, go backstage, chill, see some people as they go in and out of the conference, say hey to Triple H, you know what I mean? whatever.
Yeah,
and
Stephanie McMahon, the peace sign, she waved right back at me.
he did. That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, you know,
that was Mike with Lil Nas X. We'll see you later, brother. He's like, all right, man.
and then I was like, there's also this thing, Hollywood Casino or whatever. I'm
Hollywood
like,
Park Casino.
Hollywood Park Casino. And I'm like, it looks brand new. It looks like it was built, and this is from the Google images. I'm like, so go down there, chill out. If it's still nightmarish when we walk outside, we walk over there, we gamble a bit, we get a drink, we get some food, no big deal. And like, sure as shit, we walked outside after spending 30, 45 minutes in the backstage area after the show. It's nightmare, parking lot out there. It's what you expect from any stadium show. And so let's hoof it over there. We hoof it over there. How the fuck do you get in this place?
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like every casino I've ever been in Vegas, every real casino has 19 fucking entrances. Yep. No problem. You get in. This one,
presentation.
We finally walk around. We get in this place, and you walk in, and immediately the restaurant's there. I'm like, all right, cool. Walk up, check in with this guy. Hey, table for two. He's like, there's gonna be like maybe a 45 minutes hour wait. No big deal, man. He's like, let me get your phone number. I'm like, all right. He goes, go for it. I go 650, and he writes down a 2, and I'm like, oh, here we go. It's gonna be one of these things.
Here it comes.
He's like 250. I'm like, no, that's a 6. Go back and do that. Oh, okay. And we walk away, and I'm like, oh, we're no way we're getting a table. This is not happening. But I'm like, let's gamble and see what's up. So we go over there, and you walk into the saddest fucking casino I've ever seen.
Saddest, Tim.
It looks like the studio with no walls, and then it's just blackjack and poker tables.
No
roulette,
no craps, no video, slots, poker, anything. We're in the 21st century. It's 2023. Get some games in here.
There's got to be some weird California
Take
laws.
my money.
It looked like there are. Yeah, we heard about that. Like, what did Elise and James tell us?
They said it's supposed to be like card games.
The law is like you can only have cards.
Lame.
Even if you're playing some other game, they use cards to represent whatever those chips are or whatever, like the red and black and shit like that. This place not properly ventilated.
Oh,
as you walk deeper in, it like I was walking through a cloud of just warmth and smell and musk, and like this place was so gross, dude.
Filled with wrestling fans too. Like these are people that are all like.
And speaking as a wrestling fan, we're gross.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, and also even the people that aren't gross. It's like when you just came from WrestleMania, which is like it's going to happen. But every other person's walking around with the championship belt.
Yeah,
you know, like there's a vibe.
And yeah, this place is packed. It really feels like the sort of card game, trading card, tabletop section at like an RTX.
Sure.
But I'd say way stuffier and just smellier, which is shocking, right? And then I hit up Mike. I'm like, yo, where you at? He's like, yo, I'm on a heater right now. So I go and I see the fucking red mullet in the sea of people, and I walk up, and then like out of nowhere, I'm like talking with Greg, and Mike leans back, and he's at this table, and he's playing blackjack, right? Yeah. And he turns around, and he's like, I mean, give me something to work with, right? Like he's just like he's talking to these ladies around him. He's trying to like fix this thing, and he looks at me and he goes, "This ain't like GTA gambling." I wanted to take photos so badly, but like I didn't feel like it was like cool to take a photo, you know.
That is so
but like
funny.
it just looked so funny to see Mike at an actual gambling table with all walks of life. It was amazing.
We were all gambling, having a good time. My favorite was when we walked in, and there's a line. There's one line to the left of us that has a metal detector, but somehow they decided let's make 2 lines, and the right line,
no metal detector.
Just walk in.
There was like some straight up racial screening going on. Like,
oh yeah, no. What it was like the right side is only if you have a driver's license. The left side is if you don't have a driver's license. If you're from out of the country and you have your passport. That's what it was.
We have no one saying that to us.
Good enough. Whatever.
We picked the line. It felt like the TSA. Can I break down the TSA and the airport security?
Mike on the groundbreaking levels of comedy. We're at brunch.
Today Mike's like to Nick, hey, I think when's the next open mic? I think I want to do. He's like, Nick's like, you want to get back into? He's like, yeah, I think I might want to do some jokes about the TSA.
We're at brunch.
Everyone here, we're all like, Mike, no.
We're at somebody who has flown 3 times in his life. We're at brunch with Elise and James and Chris Hankin, and we're talking about like, would you ever want to do stand-up again? And Mike is like, oh, I did it. I had like a 90-second thing, and just it didn't go too well. But I've got some new things cooking. Like I'm sure it exists out there. Jokes about the TSA. It's like, God damn it, dude.
Tell you what, man. San Francisco. You got a tablet? I'll keep it in your backpack. You got shoes? I'll keep your shoes on. We don't care. I'm in LA. Take your shoes off. Take your socks off. What is it? We're 90 miles away from each other. We can't call it. Hey, what's your guidelines? Okay, cool. Let's do the
No, it's no consistency.
I got no socks on in LAX.
The bleeding edge.
You got a tablet? Fucking what is happening?
Bleeding edge is stand up right here.
I'm laughing. He got me. He's got me good.
Unbelievable. And so there we are, night one, going to the casinos. Night
$11 for a beer.
Oh,
I was not happy about that.
yeah.
Dude, we were at a point. So me and Gia, this was like this casino is where all of us kind of like came together.
Because it's like all you can do. We didn't plan that.
Hold on. Juan Martin just commented in the YouTube chat. TZ took off Mike's shoes and left them near a plant.
Can I say something really quick?
Go.
Today, me and Andy went to BJ's. I got out of his car and immediately 3 steps later, just stomp on a barbecue packet. I mean, stomp on one. Right? And I want everybody to know.
Like one of the deep fucking like
no.
Like
big-
Chick-fil-A
Yeah,
ones.
Chick-fil-A type thing. Mike just and he looks at he's like, the fuck?
After what happened with me and Nick, in my mind immediately went to, am I about to leave these shoes behind? I want Andy to know.
Hold on.
I'm about to
Mike,
leave these shoes at BJ's today.
Mike, show the people these shoes.
Some Nike Dunks.
Are these the same shoes? Did you buy another pair of the same
Yeah, I
shoes?
had 2 shoes. That's
He
why I
had-
left behind the other
He had
ones.
2 pairs, so that's why he felt okay leaving the shoes that he stepped in shit with in a bush in the city.
And I stomped in the barbecue packet. And the first thought that went through my mind is, am I about to leave these shoes behind?
Mike's about to
Andy's
buy
car?
pair number 3. But it was just so funny. Mike said, and I going, just hearing this squish, and he goes, "Oh, what the fuck?" There's just barbecue sauce everywhere. He's like, "Who the fuck leaves this here, man?"
Oh, God.
Oh.
Poor world.
And
Where
so
are we going?
Yeah, well, I got to talk about night number
All right.
2. You know, me and Greg,
Yep.
we walk with Tim and Gia, and of course, James Burke, all the way to their hotel because there's no food, there's no options. But we're gonna go get a We're gonna go to their restaurant. We're gonna go to their bar.
Yeah, I guess the night before you guys had tried, but it's too crazy. So we're like, it'll be crazy again, but we'll just live in. We'll live in it. It's fine. I was like, under no circumstance am I going back to that casino.
Straight up.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I would rather just go to bed.
The one thing I want to say about the casino
should go to
is that like me and Gia ended up taking your guys' spot, unbeknownst to us. Because the phone number stuff, whatever, we just never left. We didn't go to gamble or anything. We just stayed in front of them because we were so hungry.
Yeah.
And this at this point was our 3rd restaurant we were trying to go to, and like things were closing, whatever. So like we finally fucking get seated, and we're looking at the menu, and I'm like, oh my lord, this
This
looks
is
like
limited.
What are we gonna fucking do? And there was some chicken tenders, and both of us was like, we're both gonna get the chicken tenders, whatever. And I'm looking at them, and like the name of it is crispy crunchy chicken tenders, and crispy and crunchy are spelled with K's, and like I'm just looking at this, and I'm just like, why?
You know
Like,
what you're getting into.
What I know, and it was exactly what it sounds like. And I fucking eat it, and I'm just like, as I'm eating, I'm like, is this not chicken? Like, did they name it this way to like be like
get away
"No,
from it?
that-
Yeah,
it's crispy crunchy chicken or whatever? I don't know what the fuck was up with that, but I'm right there with you. Like, we're not going back.
I was so happy with the In-N-Out meal as always because it's my favorite burger, the best burger. You know how it's all.
It was a great burger.
So night
Bad
2
fries,
for us
but
was
good
in and
burger.
out. We did that last night.
Oh.
After many fucking
Okay.
trial and error.
I mean, that is brought up.
I said I would have gone.
Mike
you know?
looked personally affronted
he
by
really
that.
did.
Fuck, bro. We walk to your hotel. My favorite. I got to get on Andy for this one, right? We show up. We get into the restaurant. Security guard looks right at me and Greg and goes, "Place is closed." Andy is literally 3 feet in front of us.
Looking at a menu.
Head
Yeah,
turned
in
away.
the building.
I go, "Slappy, what are you doing?" He does this.
They got a goddamn sign up that says, "Please wait here to be seated," and it's just up and present. Tim, it's not on the ground. It's not turned around.
No,
it's
I'm,
not.
bro, I'm with you.
It looks like a sign that I'm like, all right, I'm just waiting for somebody to come seat me, and place is closed. And I'd already walked upstairs because I thought maybe y'all had been there already. And upstairs, I'm like, ooh, I think they're closing down. I texted him like, I think they're closing down. But that dude who told you all that the place was closed, I didn't even know he fucking worked there. I thought he was like security for the hotel or something.
Andy and this man are 2 feet away from each other. We're in a perfect triangle of like a 3-foot radius. Dude, place is closed. Hey, Slappy, what are you doing over there? I'm yelling at Andy. He's doing this to me. He turns around and goes, I don't know. I guess it's closed. I'm like, what in the fuck is happening here?
Like any employee, just the common courtesy, if I see a dude holding a menu, waiting next to the "please wait to be seated" sign, you walk up to that guy, you go, "Hey man, we're closed down."
Yeah.
Like what?
No, Andy,
but
but I feel like you could kind of like be like, "Hey, what's up?"
I didn't know. I didn't know he was working there though.
I
But the
went there-
bottom floor was so fucking
There was
like
a lot. There's a lot of
buzzing.
noise and stuff.
The bottom
going
floor
on.
was
the
so
whole
buzzing
place
that I
was
would have
crazy.
never assumed that I thought they would have closed in like 2 hours because of how active the bottom floor was.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I want to throw some flowers your way though, because as this is all happening, we walk up and we were trying. There's hustle bustle. We're all fucking hungry. We just want to sit down. We're tired. It's been a crazy day, and we're trying to. We try to open the door. It's not opening. And I look in and we see someone standing like right there, and I'm like, damn, that guy's hair is super dope. And I was like, oh fuck, it's Andy. Andy's right. So from behind Andy, your hair's looking real good. From the front
Thanks,
too.
man.
But I was like, oh shit, that's really cool. But that compliment immediately turns to fucking Andy. What the fuck, man? You're texting me the upstairs might be closed. You're downstairs not asking the questions. You know we're coming to you.
Look, man, there's a lot of stuff, man.
Took that nap before WrestleMania. Can we talk about that?
Well, hold on, before we do, I want to. So we leave the hotel restaurant,
yeah.
and it's that thing where we all look at each other as like, "Welp." Like, I guess we're just all gonna go our separate ways. And I'm like, all right, well, Mike, let's walk back to the hotel. Yeah. And James Burke hammered is just like, why not call on Uber? I'm like, James, look at the street. Where the cars aren't moving.
Like those cars aren't parked.
Yeah,
They're just not moving.
I'm like, and it's a surge price. Like, it's not that it'll be a fine walk. We're from San Francisco. We walk all the time. We'd be fine. Like, all right, say our goodbyes. We take one step away from you guys, and there's a group of people over here, and I overheard while we were talking about it that one of them go, with the Uber prices, we should just get a hotel room here. Like, just crash out for the night and do it, whatever. Blah. That's what I'd overheard, so I just knew there was a group there. We take one step away from you, and the dude looks at me and goes, hey, man, that's a great jacket. And I went, yeah, thank you so much. And I looked up, and it was the hotel manager from Weeds, the guy who, or not Weeds, Ozark, the Ozark show.
Ozarks?
Yeah, this guy here, Kevin Johnson. The guy all the way on the left, the one who like married the stripper and then got addicted to gambling and yada, yada, yada. He says, nice jacket. I'm like, thanks, man. And by the way, I love your work. You're great and everything you do. He's like, thank you, man. And then me and Mike walked for 40 minutes all the way back home.
So you all did that walk?
Yeah.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
we crushed that walk.
It was one of those where it's like, it was all great because there was like hundreds of wrestling fans around us, and then they all slowly tapered away, and then it got darker and darker. We're underneath a bridge, and we're like, well, that's probably not the safest thing we're doing right now, is it?
We got to one section, Andy, where the lights turned from like that kind of like bright yellow you're used to this weird UV
Indigo,
purple.
yeah.
And it felt like we were going to be in a Blade movie where it's like, oh shit, a vampire's going to bite
Get
you
the
right
techno
now.
music ready.
There's going to be a lot of blood in this section. It was very scary for sure.
Why are you checking me about my nap? What the fuck?
I mean, that was
You
the best.
slept through part of WrestleMania night too. That's
Look,
why.
man, what are you going to do?
So we're all
I had
all coming
brunch.
from different ways, right? Like Greg and Tim are together. I'm with James and Elise. We finally make it up, right? And like, I guess I arrived just moments before Greg and Tim, right? Because like I was just there, and Tim looks at me, and I look at Tim, and he goes, "Where's Andy?" And I looked at him, I go, "Where the hell is Andy? I don't know where Andy is." Sure shit, text him. Oh man, I had the best nap. I'm on my way now. It is 5:30 at this time. The show's starting at 5 o'clock.
I was very excited to take the snap. Tim had asked me, "What are you doing in the afternoon?" I was like, "Oof, I'm going to take a nap after this brunch." Because I know that I'm going to be super tired. And I know I'm not going to have a whole lot of sleep the prior night. And Mike texts me at 1:30. I'm going to smoke that Lacron. He's at a smoke shop with weed called Lacron James.
LeBron. That was the greatest weed name I've ever seen in my life.
And then he texted me again like 30 minutes later. When are you going to Mania? Want to meet up? And I think I read that half asleep. I had a lot of alarms set. A lot of alarms that I intended to wake up during. You know, I had one for like 2:45, 3, 3:15, 3:30. And a lot of them would just bloop, bloop, just swipe to the left. Just ignore. Let me just snooze these. And then I woke up at 5:30. I was like, oof, I feel great right now. And like, I know it's 5:30 and it's early enough, you know. I missed a couple matches. Big deal, you know. I still saw the main things, but big deal. You know what I mean? Day two was fine. Day two was good.
Thanks, Mike. You feel great, you know.
Yeah, I mean, day one was fucking.
I fucking
nuts.
know it was. Okay,
Fucking
dude. Day two,
effing.
still fantastic. Day two was fantastic, but so many injuries, so many issues,
Yeah.
so many truncated matches. Like,
My God, Shane McMahon tearing his quad.
Did you get to see
that
it with
live? That was
commentary?
insane.
We
I know that you could hear, but I mean, did you hear the commentary you see after the fact where like Shane does it?
You still got it.
Michael Cole's like, Shane still got it right as he goes down and blows out his knee. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
no.
that
you
was
guys see
rough
the
to
Finn
watch.
Balor stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gashed head open, hit it on a ladder. They live.
him in.
Medic came in, put on numbing cream, and stitched him up by the ringside. And he goes back in and fights, but because of that, it was like they didn't do like the majority of the planned stuff they were going to.
What's
So
even?
it's like-
I mean, it's still crazy that all that happened, and then we still saw him backstage.
Yeah,
he
totally.
was still walking around taking photos with people. Like,
It,
damn,
it
dude.
ended
Wow.
pretty. Yeah, you could
demon.
tell that there wasn't. We needed 1 or 2 more big pops for
Yeah,
that Hell in a
exactly.
Cell match.
and
Otherwise,
those
like,
things were back to back.
Yeah.
So it really kind of like that was like, and then the main event end was like such a stunner for everybody. Like it was one of those like there was a fairy tale storyline and they just went the other direction. I can't wait for Raw tonight. What are they gonna do?
And I think that's such a great place for us to wind on the podcast
Yeah.
because again, we went down to be ringside for main event and we hopped around between seats and yada yada yada. But we eventually settled in along the ramp. 2 rows back, 3 rows back, whatever.
Yeah,
it
we were in the
was.
4th row, I think.
Had a bunch of great kids around us.
Great
Except that
experience.
these kids having the time of their life.
I wish there was
best
an extra
time, right?
pass that had
I
a
was
number.
just sitting in my watch.
I want you to know. I want you to know if that would have happened and I would have known, I would have dimed you out. I'd have been like, security, check this guy's pass. This doesn't seem like a real pass.
Pulling me out like fuck you.
It was like that day too, though. It was like night 2. People,
Yeah,
on
they
their-
were busting balls.
Security
down
was on their P's and Q's.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. 'cause
there. I mean,
night
still let
1
us jabronis down there to hang
yeah,
out, but
they
yeah.
ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. What are they gonna do to me?
Oh yeah, the kids. I mean, we were in the perfect spot where these little kids were screaming their heads off. Security, everybody get away from the rail. Find your seat.
Me and Mike were talking about this.
These kids have the blessed time of their life.
I have only had the luxury of sitting down on the floor ringside-ish through KindaFunny, through our friends at WWE. I've never seen it before where security is so sit down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, is this? Well, I
I
don't
feel like that's how it always is.
really. I've
Yeah,
never
for
seen
the, like,
it so.
It's like get the big pop, and then it's like, hey, sit down. But I
I've-
think we were so close, and like
I
think-
saw that dude who was right next to y'all doing like the
Yeah,
sit the fuck
constantly.
down. And I was like,
It's crazy.
at first I thought like, oh, he must be getting mad at somebody because they're getting too rowdy. I was like, oh, he's just telling people to sit.
One of the
down?
dudes
What
next
the
to us was like, everyone in the stadium's on their feet. Why are we being supposed to sit?
Yeah, it was
But it doesn't
weird.
matter. These kids were having a great time. We had a bunch of good people.
But I love these kids because
Yeah.
these fucking kids, like, it started with one of them, and it'd be like, "Let's go, Cody!" And like they're starting chants, and when little kids start chants, of course, we're all like,
Uh-huh.
"Help
Right
the
in,
kid
right
out.
in, right
Let's
in.
get the
Yep.
chant
I-
going."
as soon as he did the
Right
first
in.
one, I was like, I got you the whole way. I'm ride or die.
Yeah.
I told him, whatever you want.
Ride or die. But what's this kid do? The moment Roman starts winning, let's go, Roman. It's
They
like,
gotta
no,
do it.
no,
Do it. Gotta do it. He's gotta do it.
flip flopper.
I haven't gone back, but when Roman and Cody brawl onto the entrance ramp there in the middle of the match, I have to be heard screaming.
we
I
gotta
was like,
be
"You're a
close
bum,
to that, yeah.
Roman!"
Mike was on camera. Yeah, you saw that. Somebody
Saw
tweeted
that,
at
saw
you.
that was amazing.
That was
right?
cool.
And so yeah, that finale spot was really, really special. And the only interesting part about that was like night 1, there was a warmth in the air. Everybody was like celebrating it. Nobody wanted to move. Night 2, maybe it's because it's the end of everything, or maybe because that's how it just ended so awkwardly. It was immediate rush to the door. Everybody was out of that place. It wasn't, oh, we're in shock and awe.
Yeah, we
we're
basked.
celebrating it.
We basked.
basked in this thing. It was beautiful, man.
KO and Sammy was a really special end,
Yeah.
and then to have him walk over and hug his wife in front of us
Right
and
in
like all
front
that
of us.
stuff.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And then Roman wins, and it is just we're out of here. We don't care anymore. We're
Shocked
done.
from everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of like the results, and then also it being day 2,
It's day
and
2,
also
it's time to
everybody learned from day 1 how much of a pain in the ass it is to get out. So it's like, let's fucking
Yeah,
go,
as soon
y'all.
as it ended, like that's why I was back at the hotel so quick. As soon as it ended, like ping, 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 oh, the winner. Andrea Renee tasked me on the shoulder. She was like, hey, we're going to beat the traffic. See y'all later. Great to see y'all. And I was like, great fucking call. I'm going to do that too. And I pieced the hell out
And
of
he's
it.
like, "Great call. I'm gonna hurry to stand in this restaurant."
oh no, I just sat in my hotel room. I was just chilling in my hotel room.
my
I was
God,
like, I'm about to fire up
But
Succession.
yeah, back to it. I mean, how great that? Is it a good episode I'm watching tonight?
Yeah.
How great that crowd was, and even for it to be a down ending or whatever, like the crowd was great with it the whole way. And, like,
Great crowd. Somebody asked, what was your favorite match for all of us?
Great question.
My favorite match was again, problematic dude. I think Logan Paul is like one of the more entertaining wrestlers right now. That was a great match between him and Seth Rollins, and I love the twist of KSI being in the Prime bottle. Really funny. There was just a lot of good comedy. Like they played so well. Even like that Fatal 4-Way match, the big tag team match early on, that was like, it was a whatever fight, but there was just like great moments of comedy of like everybody coming back in and like just really good hype moments. I'd say that one, along with the Rhea Ripley match, is probably my other favorite one.
Yeah, I mean, I need to watch night one. Like, I can't wait to watch it because all the matches I want to see most. I mean, Ray versus Dom. I can't wait to see that.
With
Rhea,
Bad Bunny coming to save the
Oh my
day.
God, Cinnamon Toast Crunch,
Cinnamon Toast Crunch sponsorship.
Cinemoji.
We gotta.
I was wondering,
that.
how much can we get a kind of funny sponsor match
Can
out
we get
there?
that during one of the most heartfelt segments ever? Just Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
The Cinemoji.
What was your favorite match, Mike?
Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, because that was the first time it had ever been that close.
Yeah.
So I got to see everybody. I could feel it. I could hear it. That will always stick with me for the rest of my life.
Gotcha.
I mean, I would say though it was the main event because like it was.
That was great.
Even though it was the 50th time I've seen Roman Reigns have that exact same match, like Cody is just over on another level, and like the seeing them go back and forth, and the fact that everyone got involved, which we knew they were going to, but like the way they did it, and us being as close as we were, the box was incredible. Shout out to John Drake. I can't believe he wrangled it and got everyone together. Like God's work there.
Thank you so much, Sean.
But being down, feeling it, where every theme song hit, every light splash, it just felt like, oh my God, we're fucking there. Like we were in the crowd, which that's what we were, but oh my
That's
God,
how close we were.
straight up.
He was coming down the ramp, man. We could have touched that man's shoulder. That's how close I was.
Could have broken your fingers. Careful.
For me, I would go with a main event for night one. Tag match. Like I again, the Bloodline's been such a great story. Sami Zayn's been such a great thing. Him and KO reuniting on it, and just the energy and the spots in that, and the 3,000 super kicks, and every time you think it's over, and then like when they get back in there, he's like, Sammy, let's do this. And it's like, it's like fucking the power and the energy, and fucking picking Jay back up to keep kicking him in the fucking head.
Awesome.
So goddamn good.
Wait to watch that, man. I've been so invested in this shit, seeing their rise, seeing them together. There's nothing I love more than a story of like friends that are like the most underdogs that are somewhere that it feels like they're not supposed to be, like winning, and like this what they built with that and how they pulled it all off. It's fucking magic, man. Like wrestling can be so good, and that storyline that's still going now, but where they're at, what happened on Saturday is so incredibly fucking special, and I'm so happy it happened the way that it did. Can't wait to watch it. Even watching it on my phone and hearing it all, I was like, this is fucking so special, man.
I was telling Mike, and I know, like, again, I already mentioned, I know Logan Paul is a very problematic dude. I know he ripped off a lot of people with crypto. He's a very problematic dude, and he always does dumb shit and kind of messes up his public image. All the asterisks right there. I was telling Mike, like, if I'm a kid watching WWE today, I want to be that dude. He has the build. He's got like, I think he has the coolest outfit coming out. Like he always has like a dope ass color scheme. His suit is always like kind of like Power Ranger-ish looking. He's got the yellow and black, or this time I think it was like yellow and blue. The headband, the glasses. He's just got the fucking look, and he's got the moves too. Like,
and, dude, put him with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins,
was so entertaining.
It's like I don't even want to say he'll end up as one of the best of all time. He's one of the best of all time. Like, and putting them together like that. That's it. They got the stuff. They know how to do it together, man.
Great match. There was a great, behind the scenes TikTok, whatever it was, of them wheeling his friend out and still in the Prime bottle, and he's on the stretcher. And Logan's like, I'm sorry, I just didn't see you. How did you not see me? It was like a really good bit. It was really, really good.
And also, to end it, Seth Rollins and the crowd, there was, Tim, dude, it was so loud the entire time. It hurt my ears. I was impressed by that. Like, not even going down the ramp, but like middle of the match. The moment everybody starts yelling, oh, it's like, oh wow, this is really loud.
I love the loud boos whenever they promoted Philadelphia being the next WrestleMania. Like I booed the fuck out of Philly. It was such a great time. Everybody was like in unison. I'm there like, speaking of which, James Burke, or no, there was somebody with a Giants hat walking in front of me. Security's like, you're a long way from home, my friend. Some security tells this guy to do with the Giants. I was like, God damn. and I'm there with like my Spurs
Shame
jacket.
if something happened to you.
But like, I love that in unison we all came together from different parts of the world to boo Philadelphia. It was a great time.
Oh, me and Greg doing the little Uzi Vert. I just want to rock. Bro, you missed it, man. We're doing the dance.
I wanted to. Yeah, Joey was. You got to hit the Luddy. You got to hit the Ludwig.
God, man. Yeah, like, this is. I know that like the match was whatever because it's like a fucking filler thing, but my guy is Pat McAfee, and the Mario movie ends, and I'm like looking at the time, and I'm like, I think I can make the main event because there was the question of the main event was most likely going to be the women's championship match. But we all know storyline-wise, it should have been the Sami Zayn tag team match. And I was like praying that it was going to be because I could have made it there. Movie ends, and I'm like, gee, we're running. Let's go. And I text my boy Rudy, who was like at the show as well. And I was like, what's happening right now? What's going on? And he goes, Tim, Pat McAfee's music just hit. And I was like, no! Fuck, man. Like, night one was the Tim Geddes night. I fucking missed it. But hey, I get to watch it at home, so that's going to be.
I watched the show this morning. They said, like, nobody knew he was there.
Yeah.
Like, 4 people
That's
total in that
awesome.
arena, like, knew. They had the bus. He wasn't allowed to leave the bus. Nobody knew until it was game time, which was very impressive. Because I asked you when we were there, like, who's there?
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, great save.
Yeah. For the
Incredible.
Shane McMahon
Shout out
thing.
to
Yeah,
Snoop, man.
Like, for those of y'all who are listening, who are still here, who have no interest in wrestling, Shane McMahon, the son of Vince McMahon, came back out to a big return, and nobody knew he was going to be there. And then he tore his quad in the middle of the match.
No, not the middle of the match. The first 10 seconds of like
His
starting
like
the
second
segment.
thing. His
Yeah.
second
Yeah,
thing.
he jumped over him after tossing him to the turnbuckle, or tossing him to the rope, sorry, jumped over him and landed, and I was immediately like, that's an ACL or like an Achilles or something. He tried to get back up, was on the ground, just could not get back up. It turns out he did like rupture his quad or some shit like that. And what do you do in this situation? And Snoop Dogg was like, I'm going to punch The Miz, and I'm going to do the rock bottom on The Miz.
No, the people's elbow.
Oh, people's elbow, yeah. It was like, as Snoop Dogg is running to the ropes, I'm like, Snoop Dogg, you better be careful. You're
Yeah.
like 70 years old, brother. Like,
Went for it though, dude. God, it was beautiful.
it was a great save. It was a good save. But poor Shane McMahon just limping out like, God damn it, dude. There goes my fucking leg.
And that was our time at WrestleMania, everybody. Thank you all for listening to our stories and, helping support us to get us there kind of thing. The whole thing is funded by or not funded, created by the fact of you guys support me, so I got to go do this cool thing, which opens up these doors. I mean, obviously, John got us the Skybox. I'm not saying that. But, you know what I mean? In terms of the access we had, it's all very much because of your support. So thank you as always. If you want to support a bit more, of course, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunny. Watch us record the shows live. Get them ad-free. Get a bevy of bonus content, all exclusively on patreon.com/kindafunny. But if you have no bucks to toss our way, it's no big deal. YouTube.com/kindafunny and podcast services around the globe each and every week for a brand spanking episode of this, the Kinda Funny podcast, where 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each coming to BS with each other about whatever it is they want to BS about. We have to go home. I haven't seen my son in a few days. So until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.